Jack, leave him on. Section.
But I think he has to.
15 seconds. Three, two.
I guarantee, like,
I call to order the November 7th meeting of the Student Government Association. I'd like to remind everyone that we are live streaming on YouTube. Please review your agenda after this roll call.
Caitlin Egan.
Here.
Timothy Allen.
Here.
Isabella Patel.
Here.
Scott Dwan.
Here.
Nick Palumbo. Here. Anderson Delaire. Gage Glanville. Here. Justin Walls. Here. Crystal Mills.
Here.
Naomi Brito.
Here.
Travis McLaughlin. Here. Patty Soa.
Here.
Benjamin Burnham. Here. Jaquila Leary.
Here.
Ariane Baker. Abby Glashan.
Here.
Desiree Brown.
Here.
Fabian Morales.
Here.
Haley Kane.
Here.
Isabella Moniz.
Here.
Luke Black.
Here.
Savannah Souza.
Here.
Miles Jordan.
Here.
Gavin Fazio.
Here.
Jacob Constant.
Here.
Austin Morgan.
Here.
Brendan Rita.
Here.
Maggie Roberts.
Here.
Daniel Lyons. Liam Connor.
Here.
Angela Hayes.
Here.
Chris Pira.
Here. Are there any corrections to the minutes from the October 31st meeting? Seeing none, the minutes are approved.
And now Mayor President's report, Jack Wyndham.
Hi everyone, this is a little bit different than my normal SGA meeting. Nick could not be here tonight, so I'm filling in. I wanted to first thank you to all the students who attended the Students' Remembrance Gathering today that was held for Elizabeth Airmole. Thank you to VP Hearn, Maggie Balch, Shannon Green, Matt D'Elia for organizing a time to remember our fellow student. As we may be a little somber, I'd like to take time to reflect on the community that we as student leaders have helped to build here in our time at Westfield State. Moving into today's agenda, our first speaker is Chief of Public Safety, Tony Casciano. Today, Chief is here to share the action public safety is taking to protect cars in South Lot. After Chief is complete sharing the actions that him and his team are taking, we will have time for students to share their concerns that they may have. We have slated 30 minutes for this and for a respectful dialogue to be shared with the Chief. Please remember when you are asking questions or sharing your concerns, please be respectful. Students will have 2 minutes to speak, and that's it. So I'd like to welcome our first speaker, Chief Casciano.
St. George, he's the second shift supervisor. So he'll be up here. Afterwards, we have questions. We'll take your questions. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you tonight. As you know, there's been several incidents, vandalism, thefts taking place in the South Lot. I understand your frustration that everyone's having, and I want you to know that I'm also very frustrated with what's going on down there. Many of these incidents are occurring at other colleges and in towns in Massachusetts and neighboring states. It's most likely that the people involved are connected to each event. But I want to make it clear that my number one priority is Westfield State. So I'm here tonight to work with you, listen to your concerns, take any ideas that you may have. My office is in the White House next to the commuter lot. I encourage you to either email me, you can call me, or stop by if you have any questions and would like to talk. I also want to just mention that there's a lot of misinformation out on the social network media, and this is why I encourage you, if you have any questions, come and see me, come and see my staff. We could probably help you out and clear up some of those questions. This time, I just want to do a summary of incidents that we had at the South Lot. There's been 5 incidents since September 20th. During this time, 5 cars have been classified as stolen. Out of those 5, 2 cars were entered, but the suspects did not drive the vehicle out of the lot. So they got into the car, they started driving it, stopped it, and took off. 2 cars have been recovered and by other police agencies, and there's still 1 car that has not been recovered. So that's the information about the cars. We also had 41 cars with their windshields smashed out. My belief is that they're smashing these out just to see what's inside, if there's any valuables in that. So we had quite a few of those that had happened in the lot. We were finding that the people involved in these incidents, they're stealing cars from Connecticut and other towns in Massachusetts and driving to campus and then trying to get another car, damaging our vehicles and taking a car from our lot. I did check around. There's a lot of stuff going on down in Connecticut and in the local areas. Same things that are happening. So on September 30th, we made 1 arrest. We recovered the car, and the person that was arrested was a juvenile. The other one was able to get away and coming out of the lot, and they were going down Western Avenue very fast. During another incident in the South Lot, the officer working the lot interrupted 5 suspects breaking the windows. When he saw these individuals, the officer approached the suspects, but they left the lot at a high speed and continued to go down Western Avenue. So the next day, a vehicle entered the lot at 6 a.m. When the driver observed the police cruiser in the lot, the vehicle turned around very quickly, drove out of the lot, and once again drove down Western Avenue at a high rate of speed. That vehicle was later determined that the vehicle was stolen from another nearby town. In all these cases, the speed of the fleeing vehicles approached between 90 and 100 miles an hour. And because of safety reasons, that's why all the chase was discontinued and stopped. The pursuit was stopped. We did bring in the Massachusetts State Police Crime Scene Unit to assist us in processing the cars. They took fingerprints, photographs. If any of the prints are clear enough, they can put it into the automated fingerprint system to see if any matches occur and can identify a person. But once again, fingerprints must be into that system to come up with a match. So let me talk about some of the actions that we've taken down in the South Lot. We have increased patrols on all shifts in the south lot and also the other lots that we have on campus. We have reviewed and changed our protocols for patrolling the south lot to increase surveillance efforts. We have installed 2 additional light towers in the south lot, one in the upper lot, one in the lower lot. We now have Westfield City police radios in our cruisers. This will give us the capability to, and one in our dispatch, I'm sorry, that we can contact Westfield police officers directly if we have something going on and make them aware before we have to call their dispatch center, and the dispatch center will relay that information to them. The City of Westfield Police Chief has instructed their patrol unit assigned to the western zone of the city to check the church lot and also swing by the south lot in their patrols. We also had the Massachusetts State Police. They have done some passes through the south lot over the past couple of days. Today, Captain Foyle, Lieutenant Hastings, and myself had a meeting with the Director of Facilities to look into fencing and access control in the south lot, meaning the gate. The Director's Facility is working with contractors to get quotes, and she's also going to change some of the older lights that are in the south lot to LED lights, which will make it a little brighter, and along the walkway and going up to Western Avenue. The south lot shuttle service continues to run to 2 a.m. in the morning, so that's available for everyone. After 2 o'clock, a student can call the University Police Department, 413-572-5262, and an officer, if he's available or if she's available, will come to the south lot and transport you to your hall on campus. And lastly, I've been here 28 years. I consider all of you part of my family, and I hope we work together on these issues to make our campus safer. Thank you.
All right, are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Chief Tone?
Jack Wendon.
Hi. I was just wondering, so I know some towns have cameras that can track, like, if a car has a stolen plate that's been reported. I just want to know if Westfield has that, and if so, are you guys able to contact Westfield police to see, like, if there's one coming towards the area?
If I can answer that, so Westfield does not have one. We're looking into getting one here. We do have a plate reader for the cars that go down and stuff like that, but they're not all connected into CGIS is the statewide computer system that lets us know. But we're looking into connecting that.
Yeah.
West Springfield does have one, so we've reached out to them and asked them if they have any cars, it's on Route 20, any cars on Route 20 that are heading westbound to notify us, because chances are they're coming here.
Yeah.
Every car that's come in here to do any damage or anything, they've all been stolen from somewhere else. It would be Ludlow, West Hartford, they're coming from everywhere, Palmer, so they're stealing cars to come here and do the damage, hide their identity, and steal other cars. So we've asked them to notify us. We will in turn notify Westfield PD, and if they can find them even before they get here, all the better. At the end of the day, if we can just get these guys out of here, make ourselves a harder target, that's what we're looking for.
In West City, Westfield, they have increased their patrols. They this past weekend, they had some, say it was an unmarked car that was driving around in the neighborhood and that, because they have concerns for their neighborhood still. So I'm in communications with the chief quite frequently throughout the week, and he's frustrated too. He knows what's going on. He had that happen in his town, and he's there to support us whatever we need, which is nice.
I was working down there this weekend. The chief has put out overtime for all the officers, so we could specifically be posted there and not be pulled away to other calls, leaving that unattended. So I was working there, and the sergeant came down, and a sergeant from Westfield PD, and he was mad. He said, "This is my alma mater." He said, "Half the guys that work in this department are really upset about this." And the lot, I was there for like a 4-hour stint. The lot was flooded with our cruisers, Westfield cruisers, and when I was leaving, I saw state police cruisers sitting in the Dower lot as well. So the word is out there, and everybody's on board. And like I said, the officers in the area, not just from here, are taking it personally.
Thank you.
Yes.
Brandon Reed.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming. I'm Brandon Reed, a student representative, and I just wanted to ask if the idea if a South Law officer or a booth or mini station or just anything where it shows that police or the officers are always there, just as you said, to make us a harder target, or any idea like that to be implemented?
So I did, like I said earlier, did meet with the director of facilities. Along with the gate, there's, we're looking at other things too. As far as, booth right now, we're trying to at least get the gate up right now and take care of the issues that are happening now. Maybe in the future, we can do this in a couple phases, I think. So, that's why I'm here. I'm talking to everybody, try to get, suggestions, ideas in that. And your help is greatly appreciated. So, that may be something down the line.
So, sorry, I used to go to a previous school, Curry College, and our parking lot, just an idea, there was a toll booth with an officer in it, and then you would present them your ID or scan in, and then you'd be allowed in and out, if that would be an idea that could help.
That's one of the, the things that we're looking at. You have to have your ID, just like if you're going into your home. Key in, check in, or whatever we're calling it, the gate will go up and then you can go in. Same thing when you come out, we're looking, you have to put your card in to get out. And there'll be lighting and some other technology, let's say, in that area.
Thank you so much.
Sarah Harrington.
Hi, thank you for coming down. I'm Sarah Harrington, Vice President of Academic Life. I was just wondering if you guys have found or given students any resources for when their cars can look into, or like things that they can do if they can't use their car, and just like tell everyone like what like they've been provided for that stuff and what they can know to use in the future in case that it continues.
So we've been helping. If you've been, if your window's been broken or victim of a crime, we're going down, we're helping, the quick fix, put some plastic on the windows and stuff to protect the inside of the car. There are a lot of crime prevention devices out there. If you Google, I'm going to call this one of them. Okay, so it's a device that you put on your steering wheel. It doesn't allow you to, if someone tries to take it, it doesn't allow you to, you can't steer. There's quite a few other devices that are out there. Obviously, if you can park under a light, it's just anywhere, just not here. If you're going anywhere, this information, you park under a light, so your car is illuminated. There's also get some of the other devices that's out there. Well, some of the other things is valuables. Don't leave them in your car. Okay, so people can see that, especially now. Here you don't want to leave computers laying around or anything like that. If you're out shopping, same thing. Try to hide them. Put them in. On some of the notices, put them in your trunk. So these people, what they do, it's quick. Okay, they're looking. If there's nothing there, they're going to go to somewhere else, some other car, and make sure you try. A good deterrent is to lock your doors on your cars if you can. Most cars you can do that. Obviously, they're breaking the windows on some of these cars, but if it's locked, they go by. They just try the doors, and if it's open, jackpot. Let's see if we could get in. That makes it quicker. Then you can get through some more things, and just a lot of these. There's like 3 to 5. What we've been seeing, about 3 to 5 people showing up. So they always have one driver, and then the others go out, and they're trying to see what they can get. So they want to be in and out. So that's why with having our cruiser here lit up, it's going to be a deterrent, that we found out. Last week when they came down and the officers were sitting there.
The smash and grabs happen very quickly. They have tools that they could just pop the windows, very little noise, glass falls down and they reach it. And as the chief said, if the valuables are put somewhere else, they're not going to risk it. Because there's really no point. So we've got to, I guess, maybe get the message out a little bit better to hide those valuables, make sure they lock the doors, and so forth. Like you said, real quick going by, they'll open it, they'll take a chance of looking through, maybe grab a cup full of change or whatever happens to be there, but if there's nothing there, chances are they're just gonna move on.
And a car alarm isn't a bad idea either, okay? Because when you start messing around with a car, I don't know if anybody has car alarms, that's gonna make sound. The bad guys, they don't like light, they don't like noise. The quicker the better it is for them. So that's another option that is out there. But like I said, you can do some research. There's tons of products out there. If you have any questions, you can see myself, see the lieutenant. We'll help you out if you're not sure.
Desiree Byrne.
Hi, Desiree, Community Council Representative. Have you guys put any thought into putting security cameras into the parking lots?
I'm sorry.
Have you guys put any thought into putting security cameras into the parking
So
lots?
we do have cameras, okay? We have quite a few cameras throughout the campus, okay? We do have cameras, but someone's not sitting there 24/7 looking at them. They're being recorded, and that's how a lot of crimes are solved here and everywhere else. That's cameras in just about every place you go right now. There's cameras all over. So we do have the cameras down there. We have that plate reader that's out. Unfortunately, the plates that we're getting are stolen, so it's hard to track. If it was someone's car, okay, we could, at least notify where that car is from. But in this case, they're bringing cars that are stolen. But we have over 600 cameras around the campus that were put in 2018. We started putting cameras in.
Elizabeth Mercer.
Hi there, Elizabeth
Hi.
Mercer, VP of Publicity.
And,
Yes, thank you so much for coming down, I appreciate it. I was just wondering, for students who may not feel safe, like coming back or like parking their cars back to like south, like what would you like tell those students, or like could they park somewhere like closer, like Dower lot?
So we've had this in many years. We have the Owl shuttle, our shuttle service. That runs till 2 o'clock in the morning. And we always tell students that if you're coming late at night, have our phone number, first of all, in your phone, all right? And make sure it's 413-572-5262. Just a story I don't want to tell. One time someone tried to call us, and we got a complaint that no one ever picked up. No one at the police station picked up. That person used their 617 area code. So the number didn't come into us. So when you're putting our number, make sure you have the 413 and not the area code that you're living in. So back to your question, yes, we have the Owl shuttle. You can come in. We tell you to, if it's late at night, call, sit in your car. Everything's numbered down. We have all the rows are numbered. You can say, I'm going number 10, and when you see the shuttle coming or see a police officer coming, you can get out of your car, blink your lights, and they'll come in and get you. But we do have that, that's a service that is provided for that many years.
Thank you. If I could readdress, for the students that like may not have like financial, for students who are like financially insecure, is there like any thing that we can do to like help them pay for their windows that if they were smashed, or is there anything that the school can do to support students who may not be able to like pay for the damages?
I will say this, you have to be insured to be here. In Massachusetts, compulsory insurance will cover glass, and there's no deductible for it. So for those folks, contact their insurance company, and they'll either come out and replace it, or they'll have you bring it to them and take care of it.
Dan Courier.
Hey, Tony. So you noted on the 30th that your department arrested a juvenile in connection with this. You may not be able to give away this information, but was there ever like questioning or interrogation of that suspect as to maybe who they might be involved with? Because that could probably give some answers to who's been doing all this.
Not him. I don't think Shannon spoke with him specifically.
Yeah, we didn't speak to this person that was arrested. We did get some other names that we, through some part of the investigation, there was another incident where the car was in an accident located. So we were able to get some names there. We didn't see people, but we really didn't get too much. Juveniles, they're tough. You know, have to have a parent there and get involved. But yeah, we didn't get any information. And we're hoping that's, you know, it may take a little bit of time, but through communications with other departments, incidents that happen in another area, may be able to trigger and solve many cases. And it's just one incident, one arrest, or a group that you get that will be able to, you know, solve these crimes that are occurring.
The vehicles that have all been stolen and those that have come here that have been stolen are all either Hyundais or Kias, and they've got some kind of a security glitch in their software. And there is an update available. However, the bad guys, for lack of a better term, they can't tell by looking at it if it's had the software update or not. So a couple have been broken into, but they weren't able to start those vehicles to drive them away. So you can't tell just by looking. There's no sign on the window that says, hey, I've had my security update, leave me alone. But yeah, unfortunately, they dropped the ball with that. And like I said, every car that's come in here has been a Hyundai or a Kia. Every car that's gone out has been a Hyundai or a Kia.
And there's, you know, unfortunately TikTok shows a lot of things, how to do things, and this was one of them. And I don't know if it's a challenge or what's going on, but it's out there.
I'd like to also remind our non-SGA members that you can also ask a question. I saw one student in the back with a question, so if you'd like to ask it, can you just please rise and say your name?
Hello, I'm Brian Brown. I was just wondering if you guys had considered allowing high-risk cars to maybe park in the commuter lots. It might or may not be an option, but at least having it in an area that's closer or around more people might make more sense, especially for high-risk cars like the Kias and the Hyundais, like you said, because they are targeting those specific cars. So there's enough spots for them to fit over on campus.
So you know, we're looking into everything at this time. I don't know if that's gonna, you know, I can do that right now because we have our patrols down in the south lot. I don't want to keep moving people around, and we have other spots we have to worry about. So if we concentrate on the south lot, have our people there do our patrols, we're hoping that this can solve this problem for now. You know, who knows what'll happen in a couple months. But that's a good question. I'll write that down, and we'll maybe address that, take a look at it. Thank you.
I have a question. How are you dealing with students who are getting pulled over that are in the commuter and like South Lots that are driving through South Lot? Is there a way that you can tell that they go here? Because I know that there's been a lot of students getting pulled over saying that they're suspicious vehicles.
I want to say that's one of those rumors that's going around. That,
it happened yesterday.
To whom?
To one of my friends who was dropping me off in South Lot.
They were pulled over just because they were suspicious?
Because their car was suspicious.
What time was this?
This was like 9 o'clock. So I was just wondering, because they were a student here, if
That's surprising to me because most times we do a motor vehicle stop. There's a reason why. Either a headlight out or they were going too fast, they missed a stop sign, something like that. If somebody's showing some behavior that is extremely suspicious, then yeah, we'll do an investigatory stop just to find out to make sure because of everything that's been going on. But
yeah, it's just weird.
Yeah, there's no well, I don't know that it's weird. I mean, we're trying to be diligent and make sure everybody's protected. What was the outcome of that stop, you know?
They just said there was just suspicious vehicle, and then she had said, I'm just dropping my friend off, I go here. And they were like, well, we're just looping around and we were just trying to find a spot.
Did you, okay, so you were driving around?
I mean, she dropped me off
Gotcha, so
at
they,
my car.
did they just drive through the parking lot and then drive out?
Yeah.
Oh, I probably didn't notice that, there's a parking lot, most times people go in, they park the car, they get out of the car and they go somewhere, they don't just like drive through. But that's what the bad guy vehicles have been doing, if they see a cruiser, they'll go through, pretend that they're, that whatever,
Yeah.
that they were gonna park and then leave. So maybe that was it, I don't know, because I can't speak to that particular stop.
Yeah, I was just wondering in general, if like people who do go here get pulled over, what,
Sometimes, but there's always a legitimate reason why, it's not just a random, hey, you look kind of funky kind of thing. It's not random, there's always a reason and a purpose for it.
They have to call that in, let's call that into our dispatch. They'll notify dispatch with the information, where they're at, and that type of thing, if there's any type of violation. But once again, just remember, the south lot is our, one of our focuses right now. So, you may get pulled over if you're driving slow, or in that case, someone is driving around in circles. We're here, we want to stop that, and we want to, make sure for the safety of everybody. So there's a, possibility that, yeah, you may get stopped on that. But if there's ever any issues, with the officer, then just get a hold of us.
Yeah, we want to know about it.
And we can address it.
thank you.
Isabel Gomez.
Hi, thank you for coming down. Isabel Moniz, New Hall representative. I was just wondering, I don't know if you can say anything to this, but if you have any reason to believe that some of these students, some of these people that are coming here may have connections to students that might be in some way helping this, whatever we want to call it.
My gut feeling is no.
Those that we have talked to have no connection here whatsoever.
Okay.
So it's
I think the
I
problem,
don't think they'd be doing this, the connection to it, and where they're going and where they're finding, where they're at. I don't believe there's a connection to any of our students here.
and I think this problem is so widespread, that it's multiple states all over the place. I think it's just, if they see a soft target, and they see a lot of cars in an isolated place, it's very attractive for those who want to come out and wreak havoc.
And we have to think like the bad guys when we're doing this stuff. And everybody has their phone, so hey, stay away from Westfield. Saw a lot of cops tonight, I think. So they have their network, okay? Just like we have our network. I can text you, anyone. They do the same. And then, like Bernie said, they're looking for a soft target, so to get in, get out, real easy.
Ethan Haynes.
Hi, Ethan Haynes, SGA parliamentarian. I was just wondering, you mentioned about a gate, and I think that's a great idea. How realistically soon could a gate be constructed, and how realistically could that be pushed?
Well, I was at a meeting today. They had an engineer that came in, okay, had all the plans. This engineer had worked at other locations in the area. I don't know the time frame, because he still has to be, he's going to be drawing some things up. We have to purchase that. We have to get purchase orders, everything, is going to get pushed. We're going to try to push this through as quick as we can. And our administration is shaking, and Hearn is shaking his head. So hopefully we can get this pushed through. This is, it's a safety issue. So I think we need to, the university is looking at that, and we're going to move forward with that.
Readdress. Since we don't know an exact timeline, is there any way we could get a patrol cruiser down there to have restricted access into South Lot to protect our cars?
Well, we have one down here from 11 to 7 in the morning. During the day, we have the officers making checks. They do they stagger, hour, half hour, go from there, they call it in, same on the second shift. So we're getting, I have a small department, okay, and we're down a couple officers, so we're trying our best to make sure that we have people down visible. That's the thing. If they're visible, they're just gonna go somewhere else. So that's what we're working on right now. That's the ideal, to have someone sitting there, but, hopefully, we get these gates in and that'll help out a little bit.
Joseph Bonilla.
Hello.
Excuse me, my name is Joseph, VP of Student Equity. I just had, I guess, sort of a statement, kind of, just like information, and also based on what I've been told, and a question. So like, as far as like, the leads of like, whether or not like, people are like stealing things and valuables, honestly, like, from like the people that I know who have had their cars like broken into, they've kind of like led to say that like, there was nothing valuable taken, even though there was. So I guess it poses the question whether or not there, if there's a lead that you guys may have, whether or not this is a delinquent kind of thing, like delinquency, or would it be a long-term threat? Because I feel like that would gauge whether or not where like resources kind of would be spent appropriately. Does that make sense? You guys think?
I don't know, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm wondering whether or not you guys think it's like a delinquency type thing, like, like just like young people trying to like break into cars, drive them around, or if it's more like a actual threat where people are like actually trying to steal cars, because if that is, maybe it's more long term.
So we've had more windows broken here than stolen cars. And I'm not sure if I'm not sure why, that they're doing that. Because if they want to steal more cars, they obviously, didn't have the opportunity to do that. So I'm not sure this window thing is bugging me, why they were smashing, which I said earlier, maybe they're looking. But, they're taking a car here, a car there. Like, even some of the other local colleges, it's not a lot of cars that they're taking, but they're getting the same thing, they're smashing.
Reports from other departments lead me to believe maybe more of a delinquent thing. Our home arrest was 15, and the reports from other institutions are saying they appear, because they've got cameras as well, they appear to be very young. So I think we're looking at mid-teens in that ballpark. So it might just be kids coming out for kicks, see what they can get. If they get something great, if they can't, they can't. Because some cars have reported, the window was smashed and nothing was taken, and that's what they've told us. Which is pretty odd, but maybe they're gambling. I don't know. They'll go, they'll rummage through it. The victims will find stuff all over the place, but there's nothing valuable that was removed from the vehicle. So
I'm dating myself way back when people were breaking the cars, they would pull out stereos, radios. You guys know what those are. But that, at that time is, that's what was happening. But now there's, you can't pull out the radio. No one needs them.
does that answer?
Yes, thank you.
It's kind of, that's what we're trying to work through here.
Chris Pure.
Hi, Chris Pure, representative Balch for SGA. I just wanted to ask, there's nothing saying that this is going to happen in the future to other places on campus, like whether that's the Lamers lot, commuter lot, or the lot by the apartments in Dower. So if that does happen, what's your plan to address that if and when it does happen?
We're gonna have to look, the totality of everything again, see what's going on. We may have to do the same as we're doing down in the south lot, but we are, I'm encouraging, telling my people, we need to check all our lots that we have. Our cars are parked. We have a lot of cars on campus. So if that does happen, we have to, sit down again, come up with a plan, see exactly what's happening, where it's happening, and put all that together, and try to, stop it.
There's no way to guarantee that that's not going to happen anywhere. That's impossible. And as Chief said, our resources are what they are. And for example, it's always life over property, right? Life always takes precedence. So, but once again, we were posted down there the other night. We had a report of a missing student. That's important. So it's going to draw our resources away. So unfortunately, the South Lot went uncovered for about an hour and a half. We were able to find the student. Everything worked out okay, and then the officers went back to their normal patrol and the officer posted back down there again. But we've got to prioritize things and people over property every day of the week. And unfortunately, there's no way to guarantee it that it will never happen because, you know, people have free will and doing what they're gonna do. Even our best efforts may go forward from time to time.
And the story, I was talking with the chief of the city of Westfield, they had some issues, I don't know how long ago, but he had quite a few of their officers out throughout the city, and because they were having incidents like this, and nothing happened. You know, so it's a cat and mouse game that we're playing. They're trying to get one on us, and we're trying to deny that.
For the sake of time, we're just gonna take 2 more questions. So I know we have a student from the back who has a question.
Hello. So you had briefly mentioned the primary targets of these attacks are secluded parking lots. So I'm curious, why are we expecting our students to continue parking in a high-risk location when there are other lots on campus?
I explained earlier that that's where we're concentrating our efforts for security-wise.
But if it's a high-risk location, why don't we attempt to move some of the students out?
So if we move cars to a different location, this could happen in that area. We have the lighting down in the south lot. We have extra lighting. We have our patrols down there. We have someone in there at night. So right now, that's where we're concentrating to control this.
Okay, but it hasn't happened in any other lots, so I'm curious why we haven't moved other cars to lots that haven't been broken into yet.
Because now we're spreading that out. If everything's done on the south lot, that's easier for us to concentrate. And so we're putting all our efforts down there to make it no longer a high-risk spot. And if we have an officer posted down there, the risk has been minimized. Not 100%, you can't do that. But it's been minimized tremendously, so it's no longer that high risk. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Thanks. Isabella Mendez.
Hi, Erin. I know that we've been talking about having patrols down there. I was just wondering if there was a possibility that we could get an unmarked car down there. So that way I know the intent is to make us known, but what if we have an unmarked car down there?
For now, we're gonna keep the marked car down there and concentrate, you know, so they move on, okay? They move on. We do have some other things that, you know, we have available, but for now, we're gonna keep the marked car there, we're gonna keep the lights on. And we saw that they came down, saw the cruiser got, you know, they left. So we're trying to protect our assets right now, and that's the method we're gonna use for now. I'm not saying, you know, down the line, other things could happen.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, Rep. to Senate. I just had a quick question. Church lot has also been broken into, correct?
There was one stolen, you know, one car stolen there, and then I believe one vandalized. So we, you know, the church lot is a private area. We do drive-bys as we see that. The city also will patrol that. If there's an incident in that area, the city will have to come and do the report because that's not our area. So, but if, you know, anything happens in here, give us a call, you know, contact the city and you know, see what they can send one up and take the report and help out.
Are there any further questions?
I just had a question about the shuttles. I know it's very important for our students to get back and forth, and there's just some days and nights, especially where it's very busy, Sunday night especially, that everyone's trying to move their car, and it's not to blame to the shuttle because it fills up and you legally can't put anyone else on, but would it be an option to have 2 shuttles or more transportation during Sunday nights or very busy nights? Because every Sunday night it feels like there's a battle between 100 people in that lot just trying to get back safely.
I'll definitely look at that and I'll get back to you.
Thank you, Steve.
the shuttle is run by our student safety assistants, okay? So it's, they're the drivers. What do we have right now, 11? Yeah, we have 11 of them right now, so, we're trying, actually, they're doing some interviews tonight, so hopefully get a couple more. So we'll, I'll look into that, good idea, and I think, we'll take a very good look at that. If there's, that makes sense, everybody's moving down, they have to be down there before midnight, and we need that rush for that period.
So are you thinking like 8 to midnight?
Around that time, when we start to get dark.
Is that when you notice it being the busiest?
Yes, it's Sunday, when everyone's trying to rush
Right,
back.
but like, I'm looking for a time frame.
When do you guys usually move, is it 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10?
I would say the 8 to 9 period.
We have one more question, Joseph, from you.
I apologize. Just to make sure that we are all on the same page and the students feel like they're getting something out of this. Specifically, so with the, I guess, measures that you guys are taking in public safety, much appreciated. The measures that are being taken, as if we continue to see, a resurgence or continued, I guess, effort from the other end of the quote-unquote bad guys, is there any plan to then continue mitigating? Is there any action plan that might be put in place, considering that the, in this scenario, any measures taken currently aren't effective?
So, we'd have to look at that. Right now, what we're doing seems, hopefully, that having the officers down there is going to take care of this. If we see that, this may stop, but may start up again at some point, and we find that it's not doing what it's supposed to do, but we're going to sit down, talk about it, and come up with a better plan.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, due to the sake of time, we're gonna end questions there, so I want to thank Chief Casciano for coming down and answering questions tonight.
All right.
First off, I just want to thank all the students who came down and asked questions. Next, we have the second guest speaker. So for student threat assessment team, we have Dean of Students, Maggie, Balch, and Associate Dean of Students, Shannon Green. The presentations.
We were joking because I make these beautiful presentations and Maggie never uses them. So we're just gonna let her go and I'm just gonna click through like for some of you like we did last time.
Okay, before we get started, hey, everybody stand up. Been sitting for a long time, stretch up. All right, thank you, I needed that. Part of the reason that I wanted you to do that was because I know parking is on everybody's mind. It is on your mind, it is on our mind, we talk all the time about it. And there's other things that are happening in the world right now. And one of those things is that our sister institutions in the past couple weeks have had active shooter situations, either close or on campus. And so this presentation is very timely in a sense that it's kind of bringing real world things onto college campuses, which is what we talk about all the time. So we're going to talk a little bit about the student threat assessment team. There are 4 out of the 8 members here tonight. John is a member of the student threat assessment team too. And so I'm gonna do my best to follow the slides. Rarely does that happen. And let's see how well Shannon can keep up with me in terms of how I go through the slides. So, student threat is.
There you go.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So student threat assessment. Student threat assessment team. Does anybody know what it means? I know you can read it. Thank you for reading. Put it in your own words. What does it mean? Yes. Taking immediate action. There's a group of people on campus that if you come to us, or faculty come to us, or staff come to us and say, I'm really concerned about this particular student, they've been exhibiting this kind of behavior. We all get into a room, we read the information, we may talk with you, we may invite you into the conversation, we may ask you questions, we may do some background information on that particular student. Not because we want to get in people's business, but because our responsibility on this campus is to keep people as safe as we can. It's never as Lieutenant George said, it's never 100%, but we work really, really hard to do that. So this is a group of people on campus that really kind of do a deep dive into some of the behaviors that people are seeing on campus. The membership of the team, me, I chair it. Shannon's on it, Tony's on it, John's on it, Captain Foyle's on it. Karen Leary, our Title IX coordinator, is on it. Someone from the Counseling Center, typically the director of the Counseling Center, Brian Kagelin, is on it. Sarah Lazar from Bonaccos is on it. I think that's it. And Tom Kettle, who does our emergency planning, is also on it. We invite other people to be on it in the event that we need to bring people in from human resources, we do that. If we need to bring people in from dining, we do that. If we need to invite Alan Blair to come in, we do that. Because again, we're looking at the totality of the situation. The purpose is to, we have a couple purposes, and one of the big purposes and reasons that we're here tonight is so that we can train people and make people aware of the fact that we actually have this on campus. This is normal on college campuses. This isn't something that we specialize in here. It's something that college campuses are moving to in order to kind of be more proactive and think about and be aware of things that are happening with our students, our faculty, and our staff. So we train people like this, we raise awareness like this, and then we also sit down and try to be as proactive as possible. And when we need to be, to do a deep dive, like I said, into the situation and try and figure out next steps. Occasionally, we need to be reactive, but the goal is really to be proactive and get as big a picture of the situation as we can. And we need your help. So we need you. There are only, what did I say, 6 or 8 of us on the team, maybe 10 if we invite some other people in. But we need you to be a part of this team. We need you to be the eyes and ears out there. We need you to be thinking about and listening and hearing things that are being said. When 9/11 happened, they did the see something, say something situation, right? So you can't go to the airport without hearing it come on and say, if you see something, say something. If you get on the T in Boston, it says, if you see something, say something. If you see a backpack that is unaccompanied, if you hear somebody say, oh my goodness, I have a gun in my backpack, or if you hear somebody say, or show you a picture on Instagram or on social media or on Snapchat that looks as though there's a weapon involved, or that they're thinking about a list of people that they may hurt. We need to know that information. That's what we do. We take a look at all of that, we analyze it, and we ask a lot of questions around it in an effort to keep this campus safe. We do it more often than I would like, and I think we're fairly good at it. When and what to report. So let's think for a minute, what kind of threats that we would want to know about. Audience participation. What do you think we would want to know about? What do you think me as a dean of students would want to know about? Yes?
Self-harm.
Self-harm, very big. We are interested in knowing about self-harm because we are interested in trying to keep you and the community safe. Yes?
Firearm.
Firearm. I want to know about a firearm. I want to know about a knife. I want to know about nunchucks. I want to know about a machete. I have confiscated a machete in my lifetime as a residence hall director. So there are things like that that we need to know about. If you are questioning whether or not, I want to know about it. I want to know about ammunition. If somebody has ammunition in their drawer, in their desk, I need to know about that. What else do I need to know about? Yes?
Bomb threats.
I need to know about bomb threats. I haven't dealt with a bomb threat in a long time, let's keep it that way. But I do need to know about that. We need to know about that. I know, right? I just jinxed us, sorry. It's been the way that it's been going these days. Yes, what else do I need to know about? Anything? Yes?
Like written threats.
I need to know about written threats. Oftentimes faculty will call us and say, look at this piece of art. Look at this essay that they wrote. I'm concerned, right? I've seen this essay, I've seen this thread, this plot of an essay named 3 or 4 times in this particular student's work. So we take a look at that. Anything else? Yes?
Assaults,
I-
school altercation.
Yep, I need to know about assaults. I need to know about physical assaults. I need to know about if you're gonna punch somebody. I had somebody say, I'm gonna go after somebody with a baseball bat. I need to know about that because we all talk about that. And you all hear these far more than we do because by the time they get to us, we are most of the time trying to be reactive to it. So if you hear it, please call public safety if it's during, if you feel like there's an immediate threat, walk into our office, walk into public safety, fill out a report. We're going to show you how to do that. You can do it anonymously. You can do it by putting your name on it. Even if you don't have all of the information, please let us know. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Shannon.
Just one other thing, and social media, okay? Even texting or whatever's out there. If you see something, we've had cases, friends have been calling, texting friends about situations, and we need to get to us and let us know about that.
How many people are on Yik Yak? Exactly, right? We get a lot of information off Yik Yak. You see it all. You don't tell us about it. And most of the time I appreciate that. But if there's something on the Yak, I need to know. If there's something on your Snapchat, I need to know, right? If there's something, if you get an email, let us know. I'm gonna hand it over to Shannon, who's gonna talk about how to report.
Question.
My turn. Okay. So how many of you, we drilled this into you during, most of you during Leadership Academy. So how many of you know where the submit a report form is on the university's webpage? Majority of you. All right. So marketing has been the greatest partners in the world for us this year. They've kind of updated my website. They actually gave me one. They gave Maggie one. So it makes accessing information and getting us information a lot easier. So on most of our pages, and I think on the home page now, if you scroll down, there's that button that says, I think it's submit a concern or submit a report. You're just gonna click that button and it's gonna bring you to this screen. It's got all these pretty fun boxes with all of the different ways that you can report things. Fun fact for all of you, all right? Maggie and I get everyone except the Title IX ones. So if you, for some reason, fill out the general report form, and it really should be a threat assessment one, we're still gonna see that, all right? It still comes through and cycles through all of us. If you think it's an emergency and it's immediate, right? And immediate means you need somebody to take action right now, then and now, you need to call public safety. Because I will be 100% honest with you, I am not looking at this at 3:00 in the morning. Maybe at 5:30, that's usually my get up time and read all the crazy that happens the night before. But if it's happening overnight, you need to call public safety, all right? If it happens during the day, you can fill out that student threat assessment form. And then usually what I recommend, just in case, because you all have seen us running around sometimes, pick up the phone and just either give our office a call to say, hey, Shannon, Maggie, Cheryl, I just submitted a report, so that it draws our attention to it. Or if you're down here with like Laura or Matt or whoever you're with, just to say, hey, student submitted something. I'm usually pretty good, we're on it constantly throughout the day, but just to draw our attention to it. Faculty and staff will use this too for stuff that's in the classroom. So they will do the same thing, they'll submit it, then we might get an email, and then we might get a phone call. So don't feel like if we're not responding, right, if that's the only thing and you feel like you need a response, you can bug us and call and email and do whatever you need to do to make sure we'll get a response. All right, just so that we know that we have it. So the information that you're gonna fill in, Maggie said, as much as you possibly can, right? So if you have specific dates, times, locations, observations, photos, text messages, Snapchats, screenshots, I don't know because I have none of it. But whatever you have that could be helpful in putting a big picture together for us, you can attach into this system and it'll all come to us, all right? If for some reason you don't know a last name, an ID, a phone number or whatnot, you can search a student name in the system and it will populate information for you and it will get it to us, right? Say you don't necessarily know that I live in Courtney Hall 120, right? But you know my name, you can put that in there and we're gonna find that information out. So as much as you possibly can provide to us, all right, as best as possible. Questions on that? It's like writing me a book report. So it's, you gotta write it as if I was standing right in front of you. I have to follow the beginning, the middle, and the end. Yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
What if you don't know the student's name who you're reporting on?
If you don't know the questions, what if you don't know the name of the student you're reporting on? If you can give descriptors. So if there's a student that was in my biology class, sits the third row behind, or I was walking across the campus green today at 2:32, and I saw this student walking with a belt on, this, that, and the other thing, because then we can say to campus police, can you pull the cameras at that time, and then we start to go into asking questions. So yeah, as much information, even if you don't know a name, that's okay. And that's a big piece. Sometimes people think I'm not gonna report because I don't have all the information. That's okay. Any information is gonna be helpful because you might have a piece and then somebody else might have a piece. We find that often. Sometimes we'll get a report and then we'll get another report from somebody else and somebody else, and it all fits that puzzle piece together. Good question, Sarah.
Go back. So the rave, how many are signed up for rave? We need to work on that. Everybody should be signed up for rave, okay? It's very easy. You go to the main page, Westfield State University main page. At the bottom, it has the sign up for rave. You get in there and fill in all your information. We recently just did a test. We did the siren test. Heard that last week, and we sent out the rave. So people that had that should have gotten the notification on your phone, email. Everybody has email gets it automatically. So if you have a WSU email, you will get the notification. So that's our rave alert. What it does, we use it in emergency situations. We can use it if there's if the university is being closed because of weather related. So there's a bunch of things that it's used for. So I encourage you to sign up for that so you get this information. And especially if it is a serious emergency that, sometimes it may be, shelter in place, or if there's some type of hazardous material. Just gotta throw like a tractor trailer that maybe tipped over on Western Avenue. We have to notify you of what's going on, so you might have to shelter in place, stay inside, and things like that.
Let me scroll down to the what to expect, because we can talk you a little bit through this and Maggie can fill in a little bit. Most of the time after you submit a report, you can anticipate probably hearing from myself or Maggie, right, in a phone call, and that's not to make you panic, that's just so that we make sure that we understand what we're reading is the right information that we want to move forward on. One thing that I try to stress to people, and it kind of rolls into my conduct world too, this process, the student threat assessment process, is not punitive, all right? And that's a really important piece of this, because a lot of times when students report concerning behavior, you think, okay, I report somebody, they should automatically be gone, right? Let's get rid of the problem, let's get rid of the risk. And with student threat assessment, that's not necessarily true. Most of the time we wanna become BFFs with these individuals, all right? And so, as you can imagine, Maggie and I have lots and lots of friends, all right? And why do you think that's the case? Why do you think it's that we just don't wanna say, peace, see you later, goodbye? It feels better though, right? Yeah, go
So you
ahead.
can get them the resources they need.
So we can give them the resources they need, yeah. What else? Yeah, you
Might have just been a misunderstanding.
might have just been a misunderstanding, yes, because that happens often. Yeah, Sarah? You were gonna say that? Jack, that's what you were gonna say? They're human, give them a chance. Austin?
Like worst case scenario, there's no thoughts of retaliation.
Right, so no thoughts of retaliation. Adam?
Just from like the teaching ones too, like just punitive things usually don't work very well, and actually stopping the behavior and actually you're doing the process to then correct the behavior rather than.
Right. And we want to make sure that they still, because a lot of the times they feel isolated, right? And so we find that that's a lot of the pieces. And so if we make those connections and we can talk with individuals and they're here, plus we have access to information, we can see changes in behavior, right? And we potentially can readjust a member of our community back into Westfield. All right, but that's something that we constantly hear when these situations become public, like as Maggie calls it on the Yak or on your social media places, right? You all go crazy. Why are they still here? Why is this happening? Why? There's a very specific reason and method behind that. So just know that there's a method to our madness when we go through this. And if you have questions, ask.
And now I'm gonna go off script for a minute. Because when I was talking about this with a couple students, they said I'm just nervous, right? So I said, what are you nervous about? They said, I'm just nervous, I don't know what to expect, right? So I'm curious, after hearing this, what are you nervous about? Yes.
Just the thought of being in a room with the dean of students or Shannon is kind of intimidating to me personally.
I'm intimidating, right? Yeah, to me, right? Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yep. Very, very true. Yes. Yeah.
That whoever you're recording might find out, like, that you recorded them.
Whoever recording might find out. Yep. Is there a hand over here?
That was mine.
Yes.
That was mine.
That was your question? What else are you nervous about? Yes.
That it was like a false report and it didn't actually count anything, that you wasted your time or something.
Yep. Okay, so you never waste my time. I, even in these moments when I need to talk with students and they are petrified in my office, I enjoy it. It sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. I know it sounds crazy. But part of the reason that I enjoy it is because I enjoy meeting all of you, right? And the beauty of being a dean of students is that I not only get to share in many of the wonderful things that you do because you tell me that you've gotten an A on your chemistry exam and you've gotten this great internship. But I also get to see students in oftentimes, many times their most vulnerable state. And when they come in to see me, they're vulnerable and they're scared, right? But I try anyway to create an understanding. There's no judgment when you come into my office. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help the community, and that's really what my goal is. I get up every day. I'm not perfect. I screw a lot of things up. But at the end of the day, I go home and I hope that I've been able to provide grace and listening and education to people when they come into my office. So they are very scared. Many of them come in and they say, am I in trouble? And I said, well, I don't know. Why do you think that you're here with me, right? And we kind of go through that. So it is a real part of it. I think the other piece of it too is if somebody, we work really, really hard to make sure that people don't know who hands in the report on a student because we know that students are scared. We know the faculty are scared. Sometimes staff call up and they don't tell us who we are. They just tell us about the situation. And our goal really, all of that aside, our goal is to do our best to keep everybody safe. And so we work really hard to do that. The other piece that I've heard is that people are nervous about this whole reporting piece because they don't know what's going to happen at the end of it, right? So they put a report in and they don't know what the next steps are going to be. I will tell you right now, the steps will be, we will read it. I will call Tony because Tony doesn't get the reports and say, Tony, this is the report that I got. What do you think we need to do? I think we need to pull the staff meeting together. And we pull the staff meeting together. And we sit there and we talk about it and we say, okay, who's going to talk to this person? Who's going to talk to that person? Who's following up with this? And then we all kind of get back together and we have that conversation and we move through it. I would say 99% of the time, it's a conversation with a student, a couple students, a faculty member, a staff member, and the students. And it's really to provide people with resources and to get them help in a very proactive way. In the event that there's a situation where where we don't get the information, or where somebody walks onto our campus and does something that is endangering our community, there's going to be a rave alert. And it will either tell you what needs to happen, it will guide you, it will tell you to shelter in place, it will tell you to stay in the building, that sort of thing. We need you to do that. We need you to do that. We need you to pay attention to the rave alert. We need you to communicate with us if that's what we're asking you to do. And that's why we're having this discussion, because things that are happening on campuses these days are happening so quickly and sadly they're happening frequently. That we need to make sure that as many people know about this as possible. So please make sure that you're signed up for RAVE. Please make sure that you know what to do when something happens. I know that Lieutenant George did a Run, Hide, Fight campaign today. He had 2 classes today. If you have not attended that, please attend that. If you are a part of another club or organization and you want him to come and do that, if you want them to come onto your floor and do that, please do that. These things are really, really important because this is how you become prepared and less anxious when one of those messages goes out. Okay. So, I think we're done. What questions?
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for the staff team?
Hi, Maggie. I was just wondering, could you submit a report anonymously?
Yes, you absolutely can submit a report anonymously. And just make sure that you put as much information in there as possible. And the other thing that I would say, and Shannon said this, and it's an excellent point, is your report may not be the only report that we have. So Ethan, you may say, I'm going to submit a report, and I don't want to put my name on it, I don't have anything to do with it. But Gavin has submitted a report already, and Austin has submitted a report, and we compare all the information. So please don't be shy about submitting it, even if you do it anonymously.
Isabel Moniz.
Hi, I know that situations may vary, but I was just wondering if you could give us an idea of what resources are available that you provide to students in these situations?
Yep, so great question. The resources really depend on the situation, right? So if a student comes in and says, yes, I was, I have this pellet gun with me because I'd like to scare somebody because I have a no contact order, I have a restraining order from somebody back home. I'm really worried and I'm really nervous about that. I pretty much connect them with counseling to see what kind of support they need or that they can provide. And I also connect them with the university police to kind of walk through that process. It depends on what the situation is and what they're talking about in that space. Some of this stuff with artwork, artwork and writings, a lot of that, stereotypically speaking, have to do with trauma and expressing themselves, and so kind of making sure that they're connected in that space.
Yes, please. Thank you for sharing that. I was just wondering also if we have any crisis clinicians on campus that are able to help students in times of crisis in the evening hours when the counseling center is closed.
So we do not have crisis clinicians on campus after hours. All of our clinicians in the counseling center are trained in trauma-informed counseling. And we do have, thank you for bringing this up, because we do have an app called Tell Us Health. And if you have not downloaded it, I would encourage you to do so. It gives students 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, multiple languages, access to a therapist, and you can plug in that you'd like a crisis counselor, and they can do their best to get you connected with one.
Hi, first off, I want to say thank you for being my on-campus therapist. I did want to go off what Isabel said about kind of like students who have presented disturbing essays or artwork. What are the resources that are available for those students, especially in the off hours that the counseling center isn't online or that you guys aren't here? I just want to know what those specific resources are and kind of get a little into the details about that.
Yeah, so I think for any student that needs access or support after hours, we do our best to direct them to the Tell Us Health app. We do have a counselor on call 24 hours a day from out of our counseling center, but after hours, they pretty much do a crisis evaluation, right? So are you safe right now? Will you be safe in 10 minutes? Do you need to go to the hospital? And so if you end up reaching out to talk to a counselor on call, it's really to do a quick evaluation of how do we hold you together, duct tape you together until the next day. And sometimes that's not possible. Sometimes people do need to go to the hospital. So I would say after hours, contact Tell Us Health, the Tell Us Health app, or if you need to do a quick assessment, if it's an emergency situation, we generally have the counselor on call connect, and then oftentimes they end up going to the hospital.
Justin Wall.
Mine isn't much of a question, it's more of a point of information. You can also direct friends or anybody else to RAs because we have the most of the numbers for people to call.
Yep.
And we can lead you in the right direction if you're not comfortable doing it yourself.
Yeah, that's a great point. So there are RAs on duty every night. They do community tours in the areas in which they are responsible. And they have direct access to a residence life professional who's on call, a senior student affairs person who is on call. I'm always on call. And we can get you to the resources immediately if that's necessary. So if it is 2 o'clock in the morning and there is a stat situation, get to your RA, they will get to the res life people, and we'll put things in action. So don't be shy.
Are there any further? Adam Carpenter.
Just Just another point of information from the RA perspective, we also have the duty phone that you can call for the building, so you don't need to run to the RA in the event that it's something you can't really leave. So if there's a person that's having ideations, you don't want to leave them alone, so you can then also call the duty phone from your own phone and then come into contact with the student.
You could always call us because we have numbers to everybody.
Yes, it's always it's always a fine day when I talk to Tony before 6 a.m. So it does happen occasionally. We've stood up here and we've talked a little bit about the kind of the not so great things about college life. And so I apologize about that, but I think it is really important. One of the things that is important to me, and one of the things that Shannon laughed at me about when I did orientation this year, because I did her slides for orientation, and she's the conduct person, so she was supposed to talk about conduct, and I was supposed to talk about conduct. As a result, I did not talk about conduct. What I talked about was taking care of each other. And that's really important. And we can't do what we do without you taking care of each other. So if you are concerned about your friend, if you are concerned about your roommate, if you are concerned about your classmate, please, please, please take the time to listen to them, take the time to direct them to the resources that we have available on campus, and raise your hand and let us know. This is a community, that's what we do. We are here to support each other, we are here to listen to each other, we are here to build everybody up to be successful. And so we can only do that if we're constantly looking out and taking care of each other.
Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Maggie, Shannon. Board of Trustees report, Daniel Courier.
All right, good evening, everybody. As you know, my focus this semester has been on a project to centralize student job postings on our campus. I am pleased to report that thanks to the leadership of Junior Delgado and Giselle Frigette from the Career Center and the support of financial aid, human resources, the Division of Enrollment Management, Student Affairs, and others, the university will be posting all student jobs on Handshake by spring 2024. At this time, the Career Center is working with TRIO and the Counseling Center to pilot the posting of student jobs on Handshake. If successful, the Career Center will host trainings for staff across the university prior to the end of the semester. These trainings will allow staff to understand how to post work study and trust fund student positions to Handshake. Additional information should be provided to students in the near future. I'll be meeting with Jack this Thursday to discuss one of my next projects, which is to effectively market intramurals here at Westfield State University. Similar to the issue we have experienced with job postings, each individual intramural sport is in its own bubble and is not effectively marketed to current or prospective students. In my conversations with Jack, we will discuss working with athletics to update the intramural webpage and utilize the network for intramural signups and marketing. I will also be interested in learning more from athletics on the use of the Forenso Gymnasium and how that space will be used to foster camaraderie among our Westfield State students. Although this is one project I'm looking to work on, I'm looking for further ideas from all of you and seek your input on strategic initiatives. Finally, Sarah, Jack, and I will be meeting virtually this Friday regarding our proposal to codify common hours into university policy. Our proposal will be that in addition to common meeting time and for critical governance and departmental meetings, that a separate common hour be designated for student extracurricular and co-curricular involvement and academic support. Our meeting will be devoted to refining our draft common hour policy, revising our proposed letter to governance explaining our proposal, relooking at the data that we will need to substantiate our proposal, and determining how best to secure buy-in from key stakeholders. Should you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns regarding career Kayla and Westfield?
Hi there. Do you mind just explaining to us what a trust fund job is and who it's available to?
Yes. So the distinction, let's say, between a work study and a trust fund job. So work study, you need to qualify for federal work study. That would be on your the aid that you get year to year will show up on that report. So you would have to work through financial aid to get that information. Trust fund jobs, they're open to everyone. They are paid out of the university budget. So if you were working, let's say, for dining, you're getting paid out of the trust fund for dining, you're getting paid out of the university budget for that job. Federal work study is all federal government dollars, that's why there's a little distinction there.
Chris Pura.
Hi Dan, I was wondering if when the jobs are listed on Handshake, if the job postings you'll be able to like separate it from work study and non-work study. As well, I wanted to ask when you think it's best to have the second common hour that you're working on with Jack and Sarah.
Sure. So for your first question with the jobs, so I've already talked to Junior about it. They will have clear distinction between work study and trust fund. We have based our proposal based on what Bridgewater State University does, where they have in parentheses work study and also not in parentheses like a regular trust fund position. So that will be clear for Handshake. I've also worked with them to make sure all the language for jobs is consistent from job to job. You may know that some jobs may have one sentence, others have a whole paragraph. We'll make it more consistent from job to job as what supervisors will expect for their employees. For the common hour, it's been a discussion. It's really up to governance to decide that. So in the policy itself, the draft policy we currently have, it would be restricted for a general common hour from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. under our draft policy. And that is to give governance and the faculty some ownership into this as well. It's really them that own the process. So it would be clear for them based on year to year what they want to do, but it would be restricted to a time when those students are on campus.
Sarah Harrington.
I didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that currently when you apply to any of the dinings, like Marketplace, Bistro, you just like apply to dining and specify later. So I think it's important to have that like separation when you are uploading it, like so people can apply to the DC, and can apply to Marketplace, and apply to, yeah. And then that was just kind of a statement. And then my question is, when you're working on the intramural website, are you also thinking of like trying to open more intramurals right now? Because I know that we have like a few, but I feel like there's not a lot. We could definitely expand. So I was just seeing if you thought of that.
Yeah, so this was the first thing you were mentioning, forgetting the name.
The DC.
Yes, so I also talked about, so it would be more specified as to what would be expected for that position. And it would be more laid out, so it's not just a general apply all, do that. We're trying to remove, hey, reach out to this person for any and all positions, it's gonna be refined, so you know exactly what you're applying for. And then for intramurals, the conversation, at least at this stage, that we have with Jack is mainly around the marketing of it. Because currently you have to contact a random student, and that does not make any sense whatsoever. And I've had parents complain as well, naturally, that there are concerns that, hey, my student wants to sign up for this, the information on the website from 2019. So we'll have that conversation. Overall, there's been a lot of turnover in that position, so intramurals has kind of gone away for the most part, but we're hoping we can get it back to what it should be. Through robust marketing, we of course have those further conversations around intramurals in general. I know last year you may have been in that conversation where we were discussing whether we want to apply a recreation fee to all students rather than just waivable. So it wouldn't be just focused on the campus recreation in general. So that's something that of course we can discuss. Might be too late for next year, but something we can certainly discuss.
Ethan Haynes.
Hi, Dan. First off, love the idea and love the proposal and the implementation of all university jobs on Handshake. Massive win for students. My one concern with it is trust fund jobs. Some students may not know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a different label that will be under, or will it be labeled as trust fund and then separately student job?
So in my discussion also with the Career Center was discussing the definition of each. So I was hoping as well that on our university website, as with all your universities that have a system like this, there'll be a clear distinction between those two different types of jobs, what they're really used for. The only real difference is the funding, and for federal work studies, additional requirements. That for instance, you can't work during the class period, or that's an issue that you'll have to encounter. So the definitions will become clear, and we'll see what we can do to make sure that all students understand the difference between those two.
Isabella Moniz.
Hi, I love the idea of having the handshake app for the jobs. I also really love the idea of intramural marketing. As a student who has helped run an intramural sport for about a year and a half, if you need any help or want some insight on that, I can offer that to you as well.
Appreciate it. Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Dan. Student Advisory Council, Dan Courier.
The Student Advisory Council will meet virtually this Thursday, November 9th, for a workshop on student basic needs security. This workshop will provide student government presidents and student trustees from across the Commonwealth with the knowledge necessary to develop programs and initiatives designed to address this pressing challenge. Should you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Dan? Seeing none, thank you, Dan. Food service report or committee, Adam Carpenter.
Pardon me for the unorganized nature of this report. It's a very, very long day today. The food services report met on Friday during the common meeting hour. I'll quickly run you through some things that we discussed during this meeting. The first thing that we talked about was our thoughts on the open forum and some key takeaways from the perspective of dining. Some of the things that we are going to be working on as a result of this are fixing the Nestor plan, keeping the 15 meal week plan, transitioning the 10 gold plan into a block style meal plan, pricing out the cost for a Hoot 7 plan, making a dining dollar only plan for commuters, which is currently being looked into and priced out. And then finally, the A and B versions of dining plans are going to be developed in order to allow people to get more dining dollars on a meal plan, while still having the more meal swipes, as that was an issue that came up at the forum. It also seemed as though there would no longer be restrictions on meal plans by class once you have become a sophomore, as long as you have a kitchen in your room. The other main thing that I want from this report is solicit feedback from all of you about the Owl Cafe. Dining is looking to expand options which are offered in that location to have more actual food there, like in terms of meals, and are looking into ideas for what the student body would be looking for. At the moment, the first consideration that they've floated is potential for grinders there, but they're still looking for your feedback, and that is all that I have.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Adam, Dan Courier?
Hey Adam, I would love if we had the food that was once at Harvest back, like those sandwiches and salads, kind of the healthier foods. I know a lot of us miss those types of foods that we had once upstairs, so hopefully we can bring those back.
Brandon Rita.
Hi, Adam, how are you doing? I was just wondering if we would be able to use meal swipes in the Owl Cafe if they started to bring more actual food there.
I'm going.
I apologize for that. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
gonna
that's,
say it like that.
that's fair. That's how I described it too. But I'm guessing the answer is most likely no, just as that's the kind of layout that they have right now. And like financially, that would be very challenging on the dining budget.
Austin Morgan.
Hi, Adam. Would it be possible to get chocolate milk in Owl Cafe for the mornings, please?
Yeah, I did bring it up. We're working on it.
And further, I remember my first year, like they did chicken wraps in Owl Cafe for the Twisters. I was just curious if those could possibly be brought back as well.
They're also considering the return of the Twister wrap to that location.
Chris Piro.
Hi, I was wondering what the deal is with meal swipes at Wild Loop. Is that ever coming back? A lot of students have asked me.
The answer is most likely no.
Thank you.
Jack Brendan. I think we should bring panini to Owl Cafe instead of like grinders.
Hi, Adam. I remember at Ely Harvest for a moment they had bento boxes. So it was like a protein, a cheese, some sort of fruit, and that was really fun. So that could be especially a really good like grab and go option for commuters too, as well as residential students.
Thank you.
William Connor.
Freshman year, we had double cheeseburgers and bistro. Can we please bring that back, please? Thank you.
We'll talk about it.
Sorry.
Hi, Adam. This isn't answering the thing you asked us to answer, but it was a question.
Bistro is the only place that you can like grab food and go, minus like unless you bring a takeout box, but it's like more canned food. If we could just like add a few more things to Bistro that's like more accessible, especially for like between classes or like me and you going, like I normally go there before I go to my placement, or not normally, sometimes, before my placement, so like having more options to just like grab and throw the bag just would be nice.
Any specific suggestions? Sorry, I put you on the spot.
Salads that are like pre-boxed, like handheld wraps, stuff like that. Oh, also thank you, they put in the new toppings bar, I did notice that, thanks.
Joseph Bonilla.
Kind of in the same vein as Sarah, it's not really feedback on what you asked for, but I was eating a bowl in the bistro today for the first time in a very long time, and happened to realize that they don't have the pickled onions anymore, and I was really sad because I loved them. I don't know if that's a possibility, maybe if you have some time in the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll look into it. I don't know if that was part of the rice bowl meal slate slash, because we definitely limited a lot of the options, in terms of toppings that we have there in order to get them to actually come back to the bistro. But I'm happy to bring up that specific option. I know that it was not very used by the majority of the student body out of your address.
Yeah, I only asked because specifically, like, they also took out the tofu, and like as a vegetarian, it's kind of limiting with like the stuff that they have. So like, it's just like like adding more like options in that sense, maybe whatever's economically feasible.
Yeah, I'll ask them about it and see what we can do.
Chris Bureau. Hi, I just wanted to go off what Sarah said about having salads in the bistro. I think that's really good. Also, what's the feasibility on chicken nuggets? Because I think a lot of people have asked for that in the bistro as well. Like smaller chicken tenders, but like chicken nugget kind of things.
In all honesty, I feel like that would be kind of redundant, as we have chicken fingers. Chicken nuggets are kind of the same deal. I mean, like, we can look into pricing on it, but I'm guessing the answer will be that it's kind of already offered there. It's just in finger form instead of nugget form.
Hi, Adam. Going back to your question about the Owl Cafe, I know that there are like get well meals in the marketplace that a lot of people don't know about. You get like kind of a lot of bang for your buck. You get like 2 kinds of soups, crackers, some fruit. And I think if that was maybe in the Owl Cafe, instead of the marketplace, it would take some stress off the marketplace with some smaller staff, and also it would be more utilized in the Owl Cafe and give like another option for someone who wants some soup. An idea.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, honestly. I know at one point in our time, at least, because we're in the same class, they did have them there, and they moved them over to the marketplace, but I'll see about the feasibility of bringing them back.
Hello, Black.
Point of information to Chris's question. So I know last year when we brought up the chicken nuggets idea or anything like that, they said that they wanted to stay away from compressed meats. So it was kind of just down to tenders.
Thank you. I don't remember that, but I take your word. I have so many meetings in a day that I forget a lot of things.
Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Adam. University Curriculum Committee, Scott DeWan.
Good afternoon, everyone. The University Curriculum Committee met last Friday, November 2nd, where we went over 3 new undergrad programs in criminal justice, a undergrad course in criminal justice, and the new Gen Ed course inclusion form for SCORE, where we revised, reviewed, and approved all of them. The first one is the concentration in criminology for CJ. Discussions and changes to course description and credit applications to surrounding courses and acting internships were applied. The second one was the concentration in rehabilitation. I can't talk. rehabilitation and restoration, subjects of prerequisites, courses, course requirements, and qualification matters were revised. The third one was the concentration in law enforcement and homeland security, where discussions and changes to course requirements were also reviewed and revised, along with format matters and grammar matters. The fourth discussion was the undergrad course of Theories of Crime 2, where questions of course basis were asked and then a concern to certain prerequisites were brought forward, where then the course title was then revised and approved to Contemporary Theories of Crime. And then the last discussion was the new general ed course inclusion forms for SCORE, where grammar and description norms were reviewed and revised. That's all I have.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Scott? Dan Courier?
Hey, Scott. Sorry, Scott. Could you just explain what a course inclusion form is for SCORE?
Well, from what I wrote down in the meeting, when we went over that, we were kind of just describing like column descriptions, area descriptions, practice standards, and internal use forms for proposals. So I don't know if I'm specifically answering your question, but at least that's what I can understand. And then we were talking more about like governance and records to student accounts, and then more upon like student work questions we brought up. That answers your question.
Thank you.
Of course.
Joseph Bonilla?
Hi, thank you for reporting. I wanted to follow up on I know that UCC was in conversation about 3 concentrations in the psychology major. I was wondering if that's like on the agenda, if it's been discussed, I'm not sure.
From the last agenda that we had from, for that Friday one, the rest of them were education courses. I haven't seen any psych courses so far.
Yeah, when I specifically mentioned that, I meant, so like last year, the UCC was working on it, but they never got to vote on that. And as far as I was told by the chair of the psychology department, they were still waiting pending that. So I wasn't sure if like that was in discussion.
I'm assuming that they probably are waiting on psych courses to be reviewed too, because I also know other courses such as like economics departments have been the same issue too. So it must just be a matter of time and more meetings being brought up.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Scott. Academic Policy Committee, Joseph Bonilla and Brandon Rita.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Rita. I serve as a student representative on Student Government Association. I'm a county major here at Westfield, and I also serve on the Academic Policies Committee, a subcommittee of the Academic Policies Committee on the current academic dishonesty policy and artificial intelligence in the classroom met on Friday 4th during the common meeting time of 1:40 to 2:55 p.m. The subcommittee is currently composed of myself, Joseph Bonilla, the Vice President of Student Equity, Dr. Pierce, the Vice President for Justice, Equity, Diversity and Inclusion, Nicole West, the Director of the Course Achievement, Retention and Engagement Center, and faculty members Carson Thies and Robin White. The current concern with the aforementioned policy is that it's confusing, unequitable, and outdated. The policy states that students will be charged as having academic dishonesty and subsequently are brought through the trial process without needing any formal conversations with faculty members first, which safeguards the student's ability to learn from the situation and the faculty member's ability to assess the situation. A further concern brought up is the ability of students to have an advocate or an interpreter available throughout the process. I apologize. Some marginalized identities can be disadvantaged by this policy, meaning international students, students with visual and/or auditorial impairments, second language learners, and many more. The goal of this revision to the current policy is to effectively outline the process going through without any confusion and unequitable practices, meaning we want to remove the vagueness. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to either Joseph at vpequity.sga@westfield.ma.edu or myself at brita 5341@westfield.ma.edu or after this report. Thank you all so much for listening to my first report. And I'd just like to turn our attention to Joseph to show the current language used in the policy in our proposed flow chart so that we can both assess the outside and student perspective regarding this policy. Please let us know your thoughts.
Okay, hi everyone. Thank you, Brandon. Cool. So yes, Brandon and I will be working with the committee, and as a body, we will be working with the assessment institutional research team at Westfield to survey, eventually survey everyone involved in this process to assess the general opinion regarding the policy and the proposed provisions. So in front of you, this is the policy. It's 9 pages. We're not going to read through all of it, but I definitely want to read through section 5 and some of the subsections, as well as some of the clauses, because there's the specific language that's being utilized there is what the proposal is going to be looking at, and that's kind of where the proposed revisions would be. And obviously, we wanted to get the general opinion of SGA before we next meet as a subcommittee. So I'll get started with that, and I apologize in advance if I sound monotone. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, so section 5, subsection B says the faculty member will notify the student of the alleged violation within 5 business days. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, everyone. As Brandon and Rita had explained, this policy is basically around the academic dishonesty process and what it looks like as far as conduct and whatever is outlined. And one of the main topics of the proposition, as Brandon had alluded to, is artificial intelligence. So, the utilization of ChatGPT, et cetera, I can't really think of many more, in the classroom and what it looks like as far as I guess authenticity and integrity in your assignments and such. So now I'll read the section 5, process for charges of academic dishonesties, subsection A. The faculty member will notify the student of alleged violation within 5 business days of the discovery. Notification should be by campus mail or email. The notification must include documentation of the date of discovery and must set a deadline for the student to meet with the faculty member. The deadline must be no fewer than 5 or no more than 10 business days from the notification. Either the student or the faculty member may invite the department chair or another appropriate senior faculty member to attend the meeting, but neither is required to do so. So in that section where it says, where it starts at either right here to this area, that's where the language is being revised, and that's where the conversation of whether or not age should be allowed in informal conversations and during the conduct process or decision process in that committee. And we are in subsection C. We talk about the 3 options of resolution, which are the clauses 1, 2, and 3. Warning and agreement that the violation does not merit a formal charge described in 5D below. As you can see, the word warning is in capital W. It is utilized a couple of times throughout the policy. We realize there may be some vagueness in it, and that's where some of the revisions come. So now that you guys have a general idea of what the process looks like, it really is just the faculty member charges the student, and then they go straight into the process. And as discussed in the committee, ABC, and then that's where we created the subcommittee, it may seem unequitable for those who have, impairments, any accommodations necessary, and also just those who are second language learners, etc. I'll show you a flowchart of what we proposed. So for undergraduate course related cases raised by faculty on the right, left. The faculty raises the issue, asks for a meeting, the student faculty meet, and then there's the 3 options. This creates more of a dialogue in creating a learning environment for the students. And this is something that Nicole West, the director of the Care Center, definitely brought, emphasized the idea of the learning experience rather than going straight into charges and whatnot, because most of the time, as echoed by both faculty members on this subcommittee, it can be resolved between the faculty and the student, and there's more of a conversation, less of a
formal charging process. It creates a, I guess, environment of learning, like I said earlier, and also just promotes more dialogue between them. And then what's called all other cases would be shown in the right, where an individual raises the issue, asks for a meeting, they meet with the advisor supervisor. This would be specifically faculty in the sense of, one of the discrepancies that we found was that this policy talks about the undergraduate experience, but not really faculty and, plagiarizing information and whatnot. One of the topics or ideas brought forward in the committee was the idea that, some faculty may be utilizing what's called online resources to then curate their tests and assignments, which then creates an avenue for students to be cheating in the first place. So this is really just a topic of conversation. And I'll leave it at that because I know it's very, very long, but if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let either Brandon or me know, or anyone from Rob, and we can answer any of them for you, and yeah.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Sarah Harrington?
Hi, Joseph. Hi, Brandon.
Hello.
I assume this question, but for graduate, which side would it fall for graduate students?
So the topic of conversation between undergraduate and graduate students was brought up in APC, and the current policy actually doesn't have, as my understanding is from what we discussed, it doesn't really encompass graduate students. So we were discussing potentially having the entire policy in itself being revised to then encompass both sides, but it's really. Does someone want to add something over there? I know that they brought it up, and that was just a topic of conversation.
I have a point of information.
Thank you.
So I was on APC last year. It should have been revised, but you know how university works, there's policies everywhere that don't make sense. It was supposed to be an undergraduate academic honesty policy. And it was supposed to be directly in the course catalog. So I was kind of confused when you showed that first time saying academic honesty policy, because we revised it last year to be only for undergraduates. It would be a separate graduate academic honesty policy. So I don't know if that just disappeared or what happened, but this is specifically supposed to be just about undergraduates.
Yeah, well, thank you, Dan. I appreciate that. There is a little bit of confusion on the committee as far as what's it called that. I know that it's only looking at the undergraduate level, which is pretty much what Dan said and kind of clarifies more on the question. Sorry, does that answer?
Can I just read
Yeah,
that?
of course.
If you could just ask at the next meeting about that and just come back with it. I don't know if there's people who were on the committee last year, getting insight from them, just if that is the same thing as the undergraduate one or what happened with that.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you.
Just point of information. So I know I've been talking to Jess Tansey about graduate student committees and whatnot. So that might be a person to reach out to before the next meeting just to see if they have any information on it, because I know they're very involved with the graduate students.
Thank you, I appreciate it. And also a point of the committee is really to assess and research more on the topic before we make a decision. As I mentioned in my last report for APC, we moved to table the proposition, which was about AI in the classroom, and this is what tabling meant, creating a subcommittee to then find more information on it. Any other questions?
Jack Wyndham.
Hi, I was just a little confused. So by issues, are you specifically talking about AI or is this plagiarism as well?
So I think the word issue was used to indicate some vagueness in the sense of the policy in itself, but I guess it would just be in general rather than just AI.
Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Vice President Report Student Equity, Joseph Wyndham.
Thank you. Okay, hello again. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for coming down today. I have some really exciting news to share with you all today. So, and it's been a kind of long and exhausting meeting and May happen. So after meeting with Dr. Pierce, our Vice President of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and a few calls later, I have confirmed that there's a tentative full launch of Banner 9 scheduled to release on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. Both the registrar and IT have agreed to this date, seeing as the student registration ends on Monday, November 13th. You may be wondering what this launch means for the preferred chosen name change process. Changes in class rosters, grading lists, and display names on emails are ongoing and are expected to be done with this launch. Unfortunately, this does not mean that the preferred chosen names will be on every platform, on every application campus-wide, as some require third-party vendors to opt in and work with the registrar's office to get the appropriate information transferred over into their respective systems. That being said, these changes may not be seen in some of the third-party platforms that we use in our institution. However, an email communication has been sent to a first round of third-party organizations asking for the implementation of preferred and chosen names. Pending their responses, we will game plan and see what is necessary to see this implementation through completion. At the current moment, Dr. Pierce is working with marketing to develop a preferred chosen name webpage with a directory. Additionally, a technical writing course has been recruited to develop a series of FAQs with regard to this process, and the Preferred Chosen Name Committee will be working with them to further develop and finish these FAQs so that they can be displayed on the aforementioned webpage. Finally, following this rollout, third-party vendors will continue to be contacted, and eventually a rollout of Banner 9 registration would be expected. Please feel free to let me know any questions or concerns you may have, either after this report, during my office hours on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., or via email at vpequity.sga@westfield.ma.edu. As always, I will leave you with a quote. In their book, Make Trouble Standing Up, Speaking Out, and Finding the Courage to Lead, Cecile Richards says, "Don't sit around and wait for the perfect opportunity to come along. Find something and make it an opportunity."
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Joseph? Jack London?
Hi. I don't know if I missed that, but is there like a time period or any timeline for the rollout of Banner 9?
So as I reported originally, they had gone into a, what's the word for it, testing process. So they had rolled out the Hallucin experience, which would eventually replace, from my understanding, my Westfield into a more updated and easily manageable manner. Both Dan and I looked at it, we really enjoyed the personalized experience in it. And now this really is just consolidating all of it, utilizing all that information, and making sure that it's out after registration happens. So the deadline or the date that it would be happening would be November 15th. So next week, really next Wednesday. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you. Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Joseph.
Cool, thank you.
Vice President Report of Finance, K1 Westcott.
So good evening, everyone. So my report today is less of a report and more, I just wanted to talk to the Senate, all of you guys, about the student activity fee and gather your thoughts and opinions about it. So to start off, I'd like to give you guys a little bit of background. So earlier in the 2000s, the student activity fee was fairly stagnant and wasn't reevaluated as regularly each year, leading to issues when it came to funding finance proposals, amongst other things. This led to a jump a few years ago to our current student activity fee, which is at $81 a semester. And yet again, we are starting to run into those similar issues as before, since we have not been increasing the fee incrementally each year, forcing us on finance committee and in general to become a little bit more frugal with the finance proposals and line item allocations. After reviewing the fee and current interest rates and whatnot, hold on, inflation rates, lost my train of thought right there. It's my suggestion to increase the student activity fee to $100 a semester, and to just to get back on track with inflation. And since this is a constitution year, so we're going to be reviewing our constitution, I'll be making the suggestion to add yearly reevaluation of the student activity fee to the VP finance position to mitigate the need for larger increases in the future.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Kate Olin?
Jack Wyndham.
Could you elaborate more on like, in the Constitution, how that would work? Would it be based off of like, how inflation is, like would it change semester as well, like in the fall and the spring, or would it just be flat for the year?
So how it stands is, in order to make these adjustments, we have to put in, a lot of paperwork with the administration of finance for the entire university, so with Steve Taxar. And he's advised me that you make the decision based off of, the increases and, during the fall semester, we get the paperwork in by, the 1st of December, and then we go through that process. So it's something that's reevaluated at the beginning of the academic year. It depends on the year. Like some years, it might be that we don't have to increase the student activity fee. Other years, it might be just a couple dollars based off of the inflation percentage. It really depends and is at the discretion of the VP Finance, Senate, and our thoughts for that year. Does that answer that?
Yep. Okay, career.
Hey, Caroline. So one of the schools I audited this summer, it's something that's totally up to, I don't know if the university would permit this or not. They had all students for their student activity fee pay for their yearly amount for the fall semester and they wouldn't have to split it between fall and spring. And I think that's very beneficial with that is that a lot of students, there's usually a spring melt and then they leave the university and we don't capture that revenue. So just for context, last year when I was VP of Finance, we had pretty sizable drop off because of increasing numbers of students that would leave the university in the spring. That was a problem from the budget standpoint because we wanted to give money out. We were going to have a build a nest fund and that went nowhere. So we just want to make sure that if there's more, stability. So I know that it might be a potential. It's different university, but something that could happen is we have just a student activity fee in general due in the fall for the entire year. Any transfer students come in, they pay that full fee as well.
That's one thing that we will take into consideration. My worry is that since we have been doing it by semester, we might have a lot more pushback by students because they might only be here for the fall semester to finish like their student teaching or to finish like one class in the fall or something. Like we don't want to put this entire burden on them, but I will look into it. I have been given a very large packet by Steve Taxar, the VP of Finance and Administration for the university, to go over to see what the university does on their side of things. So we will be reviewing that.
Are there any further? Brandon Reed.
Hi, Caleb. I just wanted to ask if you think this increase will be the solution to get the finances we need. I know being a part of Finance Club, I understand the hard times, and I was just wondering if this increase would be the solution to the finances we were looking for.
So I think currently, like for this next upcoming year, it'll give us a little bit more wiggle room so that we're able to be less frugal with the finance proposals and we can allocate more funds to clubs and organizations. And then the reevaluation each year is what's going to be able to allow us to continue with that versus getting into these years where all of a sudden we need like a $20 jump. Yeah.
No, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
Benjamin Bruno.
I'm Benjamin Bruno, class of 27 representative. So you said it varies year to year. What specifically about this year is necessitating that increase in the price?
So this year we have had to decrease the amount that we're allocating to finance proposals. We've had to readjust almost every single finance proposal that we have seen so far this year. On top of we haven't been able to give any line item allocations past campus activities board, and we did a decrease in our club sports line item allocation that we just standardly give. So it's kind of like affecting us across the board as far as what SGA is able to support.
Thank you.
Are there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Caitlin. Vice President report publicity, Elizabeth Mercer.
Thank you to everyone who participated in the turkey trot. This week is the turkey drive, SGA's annual donation drive to benefit Westfield's Salvation Army. SGA members are visiting all buildings on campus and tabling their DC to collect cash donations. We thank all donors in advance in helping us support our local Salvation Army. And thank you to SAIL for including a donation option when runners registered for their turkey trot. They helped us raise over $1,400 so far. Tomorrow from 2:30 to 4 in the Ely Library, room 230, the Care Center will be hosting an event to learn about relaxation techniques, breathing exercises, and mindful activities. On Thursday from 6 to 7, New Hall Lounge will be having donuts and stress management. Also, I meet with NAB on Thursday at 4, and anyone is welcome. Thank you.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Elizabeth? Seeing none, thank you, Elizabeth. Neighborhood Advisory Committee, Haley Kane.
Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and adjusting to it getting dark at 4:30. Anyway, today I met with Laura to discuss the newsletter for NAB. For those who were not here a couple weeks ago, the newsletters is a project that I'm working on with President Thompson and like the rest of the marketing. These newsletters will be sent to the residents who live near the university and will inform them about campus updates. When I met with Laura today, we discussed important notes to include in the newsletter. We want to include an intro to explain what NAB is, the members, and how to contact us. There'll also be a welcome from President Thompson, especially since when these newsletters were last sent out, she was not the current president. We'll be highlighting new campus projects, including Parenzo Hall and the Commuter Lounge. We want to showcase how owls stay connected and engaged with campus. So this will include CAB programming, SGA accomplishments, and all the clubs that we have here. We will include the dining commons as hours, as Danny wants to be more welcoming to their guests. Finally, we'll include events they're welcome to attend, such as sporting events, plays, breakfast with Santa, interfaith center, pause for peace, and spirituality, being the spirit and nature, I think with the interfaith events. Also, the newsletters will be highlighting the December 9th open house if they know of any interested high school students. As Elizabeth said, NAB is meeting this Thursday at 4 o'clock, and we'll be presenting these ideas to the rest of the members and discussing the next steps. I would hope these newsletters will be sent to residents prior to Thanksgiving break. Please let me know if there's anything else that we're missing. Thank you.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Haley Kane? Sarah Harrington?
Hi, Haley. I don't know if you already said this or not, but were you planning on this newsletter be like a physical copy that you're going to the neighborhoods and passing out, or is it gonna be like an online thing?
I believe it's gonna be online because we have all like their emails. Last year we sent out like a postcard to them to like let them know who we are and what we do, and so I think they're going to be sent out to all like the emails that we have. I know in the past like marketing has used like their own software programs, so now that's like the next step.
Dan Courier?
Just going off of what Sarah said, I would encourage postage because a lot of these people are in their 70s and 80s and don't know how to use their email. So I would just encourage that because many of them may not have given their email.
So
just in general.
we mentioned that at one of the NAB meetings, but then I learned that it's illegal to like put things in people's mailboxes without them knowing. I did not know that, so I learned that day. But so I don't know.
I mean, political candidates give out stuff as well. You just send it to the address.
So I'm sure we could. There's a lot of adults in this neighborhood. Like they're like wards, like the councils and stuff. Like I just listen to what they say. I don't really know. But I will like, I'm just being honest here, like Elizabeth knows. But anyway, I will get back to you because I totally agree with you. That's been an issue that we've come across. Like, how do we get like social media? Like as Dan mentioned, a lot of them are older, so that's a good point. So all good points. I just gotta figure this out.
Any further? Seeing none,
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
Haley.
Thank you.
Rules and regulations report and opinions.
All right, I'm gonna make this fast. Thank you all for your patience tonight. Good evening. The Rules and Regulations Committee met today. We reviewed 2 constitutions. First, the Diversity in Healthcare Club. This constitution was approved after changes were made post-committee meeting from October 24th. We also reviewed the Crochet Club Constitution. The Constitution is getting sent back to the club organizers for revisions and edits on formatting. The next Rules and Regulations Committee meeting will be held on November 14th at 3 p.m. in the SGA conference room. If you need to reach me individually, my email is parley.sga@westfield.ma.edu. My office hours are Mondays from 12:30 to 1:30, Tuesday from 12:45 to 4, and Wednesdays from 12:30 to 4. Thank you.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Ethan? Seeing none, thank you, Ethan. Class of 27 report, Benjamin Burton.
Hello, afternoon. It'll be quick. I'm Benjamin, class 2027 representative. Class 2027 had our usual committee meeting last Friday and further discussed development for the recycling event. We settled on a date for Thursday, November 30th from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in the Owl's Nest. The event will primarily consist of a painting contest with other miscellaneous mini activities to be determined. Students who participate will be painting 8 recycling bins with specific themes. That's kind of dependent on what you guys want to paint them, I guess. When students finish painting, the recycling bins will be placed according to residence hall. Specific details regarding placement and function are still kind of a work in progress. However, I look forward to the results, and I'm sure we'll get some cool designs.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Ben? Seeing none, thank you. Class of 2026 report, Justin Wall.
Our class council has made some decisions regarding our week-long event at the end of November. We will be doing different things each day, including what are you thankful for, poll on our Instagram, as well as a video where we are on campus asking these questions. A writing workshop on Wednesday to write notes to people on campus and off campus to kind of, I guess, thank them or be kind to them. And then our full big event Friday night. As of right now, Monday and Thursday have not been decided yet. But I did speak with Chris from ResLife to see if ResLife wants to host an event on one of those 2 days, and she seemed very excited about it. This is just to get other sectors of campus involved in our event and the messaging and the whole, I guess, programming of it. We also made decisions on the teams that we're going to have for our competition. There'll be Davis, Newhall, Courtney, Uni, and then the apartments in Dickinson will be one, as well as the commuters. We'll also have drop boxes in Ely and the DC to make it easier for faculty and staff, as well as the public to donate if they want to. I also spoke to Bill from Dining about the event and about the dining aspects of catering and otherwise, and also to get more collaborative partners in the event. At the meeting, he brought up the idea of potentially closing late night Friday, December 1st, just having breakfast in the DC, like breakfast food with toppings, hot chocolate with toppings to go with our event, and potentially make it so students could get in for free or for a meal swipe. And I was told to report this to get your opinion on that before Bill and I move forward on anything. I would also like to report on the Provost Search Committee. Let you all know that I'm open to any and all student opinions you want to share. I'm on the committee to represent the students, and I can't do that without input. So if you have anything, just talk to me after the meeting or email me, whatever you want.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Justin? Elizabeth Mercer?
I just have a question. So what are you closing? What food are you closing?
Bill suggested for our event, just shutting down late night for the night, potentially.
What date?
Friday, December 1st for our event, instead of catering it, so cut down on the cost. They'd also have full staff move from the bistro to the DC. The event would be in the DC, and it would make it easier to have it all centralized somewhere.
Dan Career?
Hi, Justin. Thank you for mentioning the Provost Search Committee. Can you just provide an update on what's been going on with that search committee?
So I'm still a little confused on what I can and can't share.
Yep.
Because it's kind of like the terminology
in the confidentiality thing that I signed is very confusing. But I think the applications went out November 1st. That's really it. I did fight a change that somebody wanted to make that would essentially negatively impact students. So I'm proud of myself for that. I'm proud of them for actually listening to me. But no, it's going really well. The whole committee's just really excited to get this going, and I think they want to get a good full-time provost and not make the same mistakes that we made last time.
Readdress, please get a student-centric provost.
Oh, that's the whole thing on what I fought for. I don't know if I can exactly talk about it, like what the change was, but they wanted to remove something that was focused on communication with students in other sectors of campus that I did not agree with.
Shocker.
That's what I said.
Joseph Bonilla?
Oh, sorry. Back to your, back to your thing. What's it called? I remember you mentioning donations. Where are donations going?
So,
Sorry.
I know it's been done in the past where they had a bin in the lobbies of each rest hall. That's what we'll be doing. And each member of my class council will be assigned to a certain hall to go at night and I guess like sort of catalog what's been in there. And some people will be assigned to Ely and DC to kind of get that going. And I'm gonna reach out to the RDs to see if we could potentially communicate with someone in their hall to find a safe place to put the stuff at the end of the night. I know I spoke with Jim and he said we could potentially use the hall council room in Davis. So just something like that. But they'll be in each rest hall and then the two sort of public places with a lot of foot traffic.
Okay, I think that I agree with this. The donations, like, is there like a, like, sorry, not location, but like, I'm sorry.
So we're mainly focusing on like canned goods and non-perishable things that you can donate, as well as clothes. And I'm going to reach out to like the shelters in Westfield and see like what they need the most to try and get like a more centralized focus on what's needed rather than what they have in abundance.
Thank you.
Sarah Harrington?
Hi, Justin. For your event regarding shutting down late night, my only concern, I do think it's a good idea. My only concern is just like backlash, kind of expected with almost everything we do. But I don't want the class of 26, sorry, I had to check, to be like taken down for some students who are hungry at 9 p.m. That's my only thought process behind it. It's just like if you did do it, you have to let a lot of like publicity on it so that everyone knows like if you cannot order late night tonight, it's not going to happen. Come to this event if you want food then. Also, athletes might be very upset about that because a lot of them have late practices. But that's all.
I know somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think somebody mentioned to me that they did something like this before, where they closed late night and did like late night breakfast.
Point of information, breakfast with the president, I think last year for Thanksgiving. So they did take it offline.
Shapiro. I just wanted to say that now that breakfast is in the DC at every Thursday night, the thing with the meal swipe being having to swipe into the DC for late night for our event, I think I already brought this up in a class council meeting. We shouldn't have to because we can swipe into the DC to get breakfast on a Thursday night as well. Meal swipes aren't taken at late night, so why should we be swiping into the DC at late?
So like I said, this is like a potential thing. Bill and I talked about it for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes. I talked to Tim and Sarah about it, and it's a potential thing that could happen. We don't know if it would be free or not, because we can also put money towards that to make sure it's free if it's not, which is definitely a possibility. But I think if we can't get it to be free, then this would be better than that.
Adam Carpenter.
Just as a quick point of information, because I was kind of snooping on Justin's conversation with Bill, he was kind of going under the insinuation that it would be beneficial to students because they'd be able to use the meal swipes and that would be like a special treat type of thing, as opposed to not being able to use their meal swipes, which is the typical experience at late night. So I think that students would be more happy about that specifically.
I also don't know, but Bill, I did talk to Bill about like less traffic days from like the BC and Bistro to see what would work best. And I don't know if Friday would work best, but it was his suggestion, so I'm trusting him on it rather than going off of my ideas.
Move to end debate.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to end debate. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Abstentions? Motion carried. Thank you, Justin. Class of 2025 report, Nicholas Palumbo.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to our halfway there Lua Friday night. It was very successful. It seemed like everyone had a good time celebrating the friendships we made along the way. Thank you again to Katie and her class council for bringing this tradition back last year. And I look forward to seeing what the next class council does for their halfway there event. Feel free to reach out to myself or my class council members, and we're more than welcome to help you so we can keep this tradition going. With that being said, we're also open to possibly doing a collab event with one of the other class councils at some point this semester, so I will be reaching out to you guys. But as for what's next for us, we're playing around with some apparel and fundraising ideas for right now. And we'll have a more firm direction on what we are choosing next week. That's all I got. Thanks.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Nick, Sarah Harrington?
Was the apparel for?
What's that?
Was the apparel for?
The apparel actually is for the class. We're gonna look for, that might be a fundraising option. And the class council is gonna pay for their own to customize the size of our positions, so.
Any further? Justin Wall?
So I sat in on that meeting, the apparel looks amazing. I just wanted to say that.
Any further? Seeing none, thank you, Nick. Community Council report, Desiree Brown.
So the community council met this past Friday, November 3rd at 12 p.m. in Community Lounge. So things that went over at the meeting was the Community Appreciation Day that was originally scheduled for November 14th has been postponed to Tuesday, November 28th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Due to the need of materials not being able to get here on time. And some of the items that we are going to be ordering and getting are umbrellas, car fresheners, stickers from the bookstore, earbuds, dongles. They all have been ordered, so we're going to be having those around to give to the community students on Community Appreciation Day. Catering has also been decided upon. We're going to go with the breakfast style, so muffins and waffles. We have interviewed and added our newest council member. I'm sorry if I say this person's name wrong. It's Samia Ravels as our publicist for the community council. So with that being said, hopefully our community council Instagram page will be up and running soon. We're still searching for a secretary, so that position remains vacant. And lastly, we decided to chalk commuter parking spots and bus stops to show our appreciation for November 28th. We're going to be chalking these places at 2 different dates prior to Community Appreciation Day. Those dates being Wednesday, November 15th at 3 p.m. and Monday, November 20th at 4:30 p.m. And we invite anyone from SGA to come and join us if you are available.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Desiree? Seeing none, thank you, Desiree. Dickinson Hall Representative Gavin Fazio.
Fair warning, I do like shake and like stutter, and when I'm talking in public, but like, I'm comfortable with you guys, so it's just how my body reacts. So I just have an idea, I want to pitch to you all. So as you may know, there's many issues that we run into with the laundry room, and so last week I ran into my first one where I had to take someone's laundry out of the washer, and then right after I had to take it out of someone's out of the dryer, and I felt pretty bad. And I've had plenty of people come up to me with the same issue, saying how like they have to do it, they do feel bad about it. And so my idea is that we install bins numbered with a corresponding dryer. And so, for example, in Dickinson Hall, there's 10 dryers labeled from 71 to 80. And so say number 75 has had their stuff in the dryer for too long. So you can just take out theirs and put it in the corresponding bin so that in that case it's not stolen, dirtied, or lost if someone has to take it out. I had this idea for Dickinson Hall just as one res hall, but I talked to R.D. Sydney of Dickinson Hall and she loved the idea and thought I recommended it for the entire campus. And so I just wanted to pitch the idea here and get all your thoughts. So given that it is a small issue with like a pretty simple like way to solve it, if you guys have any additions or criticisms, you can let me know now or you can let me know after and I'll take them on.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Gavin? Sarah Harrington?
First off, congratulations on your first report. My only concern with that, the laundry stuff is I think there needs to be a big push for using that as almost a last resort, not like you see someone's laundry in there, it's done, you take it out. Like you need to wait a couple minutes, allow the person to do it, because you don't want to promote touching other people's clothes, because that's a big ache for a lot of people. So I just think it'd be like have to really push like only if you've waited at least 10 minutes.
Absolutely. That is an issue we touched on for a little bit, and so I was thinking that like there are some like little kinks that we would need to figure out with it. Like for me, when I had to do that the first time, I sat there, waited at the laundry for 15 minutes, and then I sat there, waited at the dryer for 15 minutes. But if they have this option, there would definitely be some people who have no patience and just take it immediately. So I will absolutely take that into consideration if we're gonna take that forward. Any others?
I think that is really good opinion. I was just wondering, like, I know like when the clothes are up top on like the stand, like the counter things, like people are less likely to like steal them, but if they're like in a bin or something, it might be easier for people to like steal them without being seen. I was just wondering if like the bins could be clear or something near the doors and stuff.
I say that would be definitely something to take into consideration. My original thought was since it was like a counter of just like loose piles of laundry, that'll be easier to steal like an item, but I didn't think about that, so I will make sure I take that into consideration.
Mr. Kira?
Hi, I really like the idea. The only thing I'm concerned about is where, like, I know a lot of the laundry rooms are smaller. So where would you plan on putting the bins for laundry rooms?
So for Dickinson, the main reason I had this idea, I haven't seen the laundry rooms of any other res hall, so I would definitely want to take like a tour around campus and see what I can do around there. But for Dickinson Hall, you have the main laundry room, which has like the main 6 dryers, and then there you just have an empty corner of just like no space. And so the idea came to me there because I was thinking there's so much empty space there, but I haven't seen any of the other ones, so I can definitely take a look around and see what I can do. Maybe we can find another like addition. I know at Dickinson, there's like 4 completely empty vending machines. So like if there's that same case in another one, if they don't plan on restocking them, maybe we could take those out to make some more room. I could definitely take that into consideration. Thank you very much.
Joseph Boonia?
Hi, thank you. Great job with the first report. What's it called? I think I have a little suggestions that feeds into like all of the things everyone's kind of talking about, like about space, about stealing, whatever. Maybe potentially like moving, like utilizing those bins, but you have to go to an RD or an RA to like get that bin, and then like put it in there. Potentially put it where they house like the bins that we use during the move-in time. I'm sure they're all somewhere. So maybe if that space has more space in it, then move those bins in there. Maybe, like, I don't know, it's just a suggestion, but.
That would be an amazing idea. That could also like help with people stealing it, because they would have to like, the person getting their laundry back, if it was put in the bin, they'd have to go back to the RD to say, hey, this is my laundry that got put in here, so that they know it got returned. And so if then someone wouldn't be able to steal it because they can't tell the RD that they're stealing it.
It's pretty interesting. I also, I think that creates a sense of agency, because if you have to go back to an RD or an RA or something, back and forth because you're forgetting your laundry in there like for an hour, a whole night or something, then you're gonna know that you have to get your stuff in 5 minutes or it's gonna be somewhere else and you're gonna have a long time to get it. So I think that might solve that issue in itself.
Justin Wall?
I like that idea. I think there are some things that could be like looked at, because what if somebody uses it, like multiple people use the one dryer and their stuff gets put in a bin how do you know which is, I mean, I guess you can see what your clothes are, but I guess the stealing is another thing on my mind. But also, to what Joseph said, that's also a good idea, but I personally wouldn't want somebody at like midnight or 2 a.m. calling the duty phone to ask me to get their laundry. I also know from experience, especially in Davis at least, that RAs aren't always in the building, neither are RDs, especially during the time where like the maintainers leave and classes like, I guess, finish. And like I've gotten texts multiple times of maintainers texting me like, hey, this happened, nobody else is here. And I think that could be an issue with that.
Absolutely, we can definitely take that into consideration. Maybe I could even be a part of that where I could take the fall and improve good tech command, because that is definitely a good point. So I will take that into consideration as well. Thank you very much.
William Connor. Look, if you wait 15 minutes, don't feel bad. They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm more scared that they're gonna walk in while I'm taking it out, and then I feel like I'm getting caught.
Is there any further? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you guys very much.
Unity Hall rep, University Hall rep, Lloyd Way.
Evening, everyone. It's off. So I met with RD of University Hall, Mark, working to establish an art wall of sorts located outside of the laundry room across from the game room on the first floor. There'll be shadow boxes located on this wall showcasing, and one of them would represent the community at large within University Hall. So such as performing in fine arts, Jedi, and honors housing would have their own shadow box out of the two where they can make their own community feel known for the year. So they would do that in the beginning of the year and it would be showcased on the wall, showing what University Hall represents for that year. And if there's individual students that want to do their own thing in it that aren't part of a theming housing, then they could go ahead and draw whatever they wanted on there. So let's say their favorite bird is a blue jay, they may draw that. Or if maybe they love getting milkshakes at late night, they may draw that, whatever may represent the campus community within that building. And then the other one would be updated depending on how many people we have for demand for the art. It would either be every 2 weeks or a month or somewhere around that timeline for students to be able to showcase their own work within one of the shadow boxes. So depending on how much, again, demand, that would depend on the variation of time. But there will be a QR code in the next coming days that will be going inside of one of the boxes where you'll be able to scan it if you need to, if you want to put up your own work in there. But at some point soon, in the next few weeks, hopefully we should see that second shadow box where it'll represent the community at large in the University Hall.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns from Lloyd? Joseph Garcia?
I think I just have a clarifying question. So for each one of those shadow boxes that represent each one of the living communities there, are they supposed to be specifically themed or are they just for people in that area?
So it's going to be, so that one is for all of them. So it'll be one box that will be, let's say, the 3 communities, those themes. They'll be able, let's say Jedi, for example, they'll be able to draw out like the words Jedi in whatever color variation they want and put in whatever with an appropriate, obviously, whatever it represents their community that they feel, and it can be the individuals in there. And that goes for every one of the themes, but it's gonna be like one spot is Jedi, one spot's honors, and then another spot is fine arts. And then another part of it would also be students that don't belong to themed housing, so that they also have their voice seen for the entire duration of that year. The plan is hopefully after this year to have it happen in the first week or 2 of the school year every year, so that can stay up there for the year. But right now, hopefully that'll be going in the next couple of weeks.
I think I would caution against creating a specific theme just because, let's say we're creating a, me, myself, a student in the Jedi House that thinks that I can create something that represents everyone in Jedi. It could, let's say that I have like a uneducated idea of what it means to be in diversity, equity, inclusion. It may like be like, counterproductive and may like have like some offensive material in the media. So maybe just leaving it towards like having just like specifically this is for this living community, this is specifically for that living community, because then I feel like it mitigates any possible like negative responses in that sense.
So the idea was to have it where it would be appropriate, but we want to make sure because individuals showcase majorities, groups at large. So if there's a group of 20 people, each of them are individual at heart, so hopefully they'll be appropriate in that, but it's not going to be where a majority of it is for each section. It's going to be equaled out, so Jedi would take a portion of it that would be the same size portion, hopefully, as the rest of the students in the building that aren't in honors or arts and fine, the same with arts and fine and honors.
Thank you. Laura Kafar.
Hi, just to that conversation, the ideas that was brought up, I just want to reinforce that Logan is working with his partner, Residents Life, RD Mark of University Hall, so he'll be making sure that students are being represented appropriately and that no negative connotations are coming forward with those shadow boxes. I think it's important to get these projects moving, just so that students feel like there's different things to look at in their res halls and that there are different areas, like they sign up for those different living spaces. So what else does that mean for them? It's coming together, another little project for their community within Unity Hall. So yeah, I just want to emphasize that there's professional staff to be overseeing those areas too, and we can trust them for all good reasons.
Thank you. Is there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Lois. Community Relations and Fundraising Representative Haley Kane.
But before I get started, this report, I just saw something else from NAB going along with like having like actual newsletters. So we will be having an event in December. We're working on like the details of that. I think it's on the agenda for this meeting. And that will be hopefully where we can like give out handed like actual newsletters to everyone. Because when we're finding, like, when people come to these events, not everyone's in like, I don't want to say like system, like the word system that we have like their emails. So, and they don't always all live like right directly on campus. And it is important that people that don't just live on campus, don't just live like near the campus, also know what's going on, like the whole city of Westfield, but right now like we're just very small. So hopefully we can give out like actual copies of the newsletters. The only thing that they'll like not have relevant to them is these newsletters will have a save the date for that December 5th event, but everything else will be like pretty relevant. So hopefully just another way we can reach more people. But anyway, so on to content. So I just want to thank everyone for their participation with the turkey drive. I'll be at the Dining Commons on Thursday collecting money from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. If you'd like to help and or have not really helped out yet but want to or are free this time, we would appreciate any help that we can get. And also just a friendly reminder to check the group meet as it has the picture of the sign sheet in case you're looking for another time to go around to either some buildings on campus or sit in the dining room. This drive goes until this Thursday, and then also at the NAB meeting, I'll be mentioning the turkey drive again. I already told everyone a few weeks ago, but mentioning again and seeing if any of the neighbors would like to donate. Also, thank you to everyone who participated in the turkey trot and or donated. The turkey trot raised $1,000, $460. Again, thank you for everyone's help, and then always just let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to see you.
Are there any comments, questions, or concerns for Haley? Dan Courier.
Haley, it's more of a point of information. It's an expectation of senators to participate with the turkey drive. We don't want it all to fall on just exec. So we want you all, please give an hour or two to this cause. Please talk to Haley after. We really need the help from everybody in this room and not just exec. So please help out.
Thank you, Dan. Is there any further? Seeing none, thank you, Haley. Is there any new business? Seeing none, announcements. Dan Courier.
We have an event again with the CEO of Westfield Bank tomorrow at 4:30. I know some of you have meetings tomorrow. Please be there if you can. I'd rather have a large audience for it. It'll be in Scanlon Hall, Loman Living Room, 4:30 p.m. tomorrow. Thank you.
Kaylana Westcott.
So 2 short things. Finance committee, if I can please speak to you guys after the meeting. And then also Everyone remember, November 17th is the trip to the Thunderbirds game. Laura will be sending out an email to everyone tomorrow. So keep an eye out for it.
Elizabeth Mercer?
Headshots, professional headshots is tomorrow, 3 to 5 in the Owl's Nest. And if you haven't seen already on Instagram, you can post the giveaway. It's one of my goals is to reach like a bigger audience and get more like followers and interactions and social media. So it's a great way to do that.
Isabella Moniz?
If you are a New Hall resident, please make sure to check your emails sometime tomorrow, as you will be getting an email from Sam about an event we're doing on Monday, November 13th, from 5 to 7 in the New Hall Common Area.
Christopher Pura?
I know I said this last week, but the viewing of the National Treasure has been moved to Tuesday, November 14th at 7:30 in the Wilson Auditorium.
Sarah Harrington?
Just a reminder, if you have a plan of information, say it when you hear the point that you're referring to, because we don't want that to get lost in conversation. It's okay to not have Jack or whoever's sitting in as president, call on you. Just say it, because we want all the information there and as easily as possible. Don't be afraid to read it.
Katie Meegan?
Please don't pack up until Adam's done taking roll, and 192 days until commencement.
Roll call.
Caitlin Egan.
Here.
Timothy Allen. Here. Isabel Cattell. Scott Dwan. Here. Nick Plumba. Here. Anderson Delaire. Gage Glanville. Here. Justin Walls. Here. Bristol Mills.
Here.
Naomi Britta.
Here.
Travis McLaughlin. Here. Patty Soa.
Here.
Benjamin Burnham. Here. Jaquela Leary.
Here.
Ariane Baker. Abby Glashan. Desiree Brown.
Here.
Fabian Morales. Haley Kane.
Here.
Isabel Menez.
Here.
James McDonald. Loic Black.
Here.
Savannah Souza.
Here.
Miles Jordan.
Here.
Gavin Fazio.
Here.
Jacob Constant.
Here.
Austin Morgan.
Here.
Brandon Rita.
Here.
Maggie Roberts.
Here.
Daniel Lyons. Liam Connor.
Here.
Angela Hayes.
Here.
And Chris Piro.
If there is no additional business, I hereby adjourn until November 14th at 5:30.